The ball first after halftime against San Diego a couple weeks ago, but they fumbled. They put a lot of those bad plays early behind them and, of course, went on to win. That's why the Cobras enter undefeated on the season. Picked up that 21-8 win at San Diego back on March the 14th. So 2 weeks and a day ago from that really long trip out west, and now a much easier week here for their second game of the season.
Timeout, Cobras.
Cobras weren't quite able to get everything sorted out on the punt, so they call a timeout. Charlie Davis and the staff want to discuss this upcoming punt. Here are our keys to the game. And Armand, what do you got?
Yeah, we'll start here. You got to dominate the line of scrimmage. And we saw this even in the first game. Control the ball. We saw a lot of turnovers in that first contest, first game of our doubleheader here. And a lot of it is just about caring for one another. We even heard that from Brian Finley, the head coach of Chicago. Let's look on the other side here, keys to victory. We have one side, the Charlotte side. Let's talk now about the Chicago side. And as we just mentioned, with Brian Finley talking about the importance of playing for each other. Stay ahead of the chain, stay one down ahead. The turnover battle is going to be key again. It always ends up rearing its ugly head, especially in early season games. Be physical and protect the quarterback. The teams most successful at these keys are going to be the team most successful at these keys is going to be the team that walks away with the victory here today.
Our keys to the game. Brandon Ruffin is back to return for Chicago PD. It's Kaishawn Merchant to punt. Merchant end over end, right into the hands of the return man, Ruffin. And here's Ruffin, who stopped. Good tackle. So making the stop, Donovan Hayes inside the 40 on the return. It's going to be still good position inside of Charlotte territory to begin the game here for Chicago, but that was a good stop. Here's a look at the starting lineup offensively for the Enforcers of Chicago PD, and you see Tapling, the quarterback, Armand, and then you see especially Pena, the wide receiver, along with Yancey.
You want to have these guys you always want to get off to a good start, right? That's so key, but especially in your first game of the season, you want a confidence-building start. Let's see if Tapling and the group can provide that here on this opening drive.
1st and 10 from the 39 of Charlotte, 12-12 to go, just underway first quarter, second game of the day. Tapling rolls out and flips it to Bryant Pescasio. Here's a look at the lineup defensively for the Cobras of Charlotte, AB.
Yeah, we got those 4 guys up front. The key to this game, and we saw it even in the first game, you've got these mobile quarterbacks. It's the way football is played now. Got to be disciplined all across the board at each level of the defense. We'll see if Charlotte can accomplish that in this game today.
Saw Devin Easter kind of highlighted a little bit there. Definitely one to watch is Easter. Went to UNC Charlotte. Second and long, handoff, spinning, bouncing around. Pescasio.
Donovan Hayes did a nice job there, number 7 in blue, getting into the backfield and maybe slowing that play down. And already you see third down coming up here for Chicago. Would really be good for Charlotte to get a stop here. You want to sort of reset a bit after the penalty causes you to have to punt. You thought you had a first down. See if the defense can make a play here and get them the ball back.
3rd and 9 from just inside the 40. Tapling drops, now scrambles, now steps up. Tapling looking deep, and that's intercepted. Charlotte comes up with the interception of Tapling as Kaishawn Merchant picks it off, and Cobras get the football back.
Like a zone coverage this time. The protection was pretty good until it felt like he had to step up into the pocket, and when he does that, he runs into some pressure, throws it into the middle of the zone coverage, and Merchant is there to pick it off for Charlotte.
Merchant, last game, played free safety, starting corner. Merchant dangerous, comes up with the interception. So now Charlotte gets it right back. They'll have it at the 30-yard line. They were backed up. They had the punt, great field position, and then the interception there off of Adam Tapling.
Something that we talk about ball control, and right after we talk about valuing the football,
right,
we get a turnover.
So 1st and 10 from the 30. Cobras get a second chance here early in the first quarter. Dancing is Brown. Brown through the hands of his wide receiver, Devin Geis. Here's player spotlight now, just talking about him. Mark Brown Jr., the quarterback for the Cobras.
Yep, from the Charlotte Fire Department, 10 seasons. How about that? 10 seasons with the Cobras, and I love the quote, I get to continue my love for sports, push my limits in a competitive environment. And I tell you, if you've been here now for 10 years, you know all about teamwork, you know all about camaraderie and building chemistry. What a luxury it is to have a quarterback with that much experience as a part of your program if you are the Charlotte Cobras.
Yeah, Charlie Davis, head coach for Charlotte, told us that Brown, like you mentioned, over a decade. Obviously USC Aiken doesn't have a football program, but he played baseball and basketball in Aiken, South Carolina, not too far from Augusta. You might know it. So Todd Wilkinson, the new AD down there. Throw by Brown, incomplete. Second down upcoming. Brown had one target on the far side. That was Jabri Ridenour. Third down.
Big number 48, Rick Richardson of Chicago, was coming in on a blitz there, and he packs a punch coming in there, trying to fill up a gap and get to the quarterback in the backfield.
One thing about Brown, too, to kind of expound on that last point right before that last play, mentioned he played baseball at USC Aiken. And USC Aiken's traditionally had a really good baseball program, but other coaches even said, wow, he never played football when they were first looking at Brown Armand, and even Charlie Davis says that baseball background at Aiken really helps his footwork. Another spotlight now. Let's check out Rick Richardson for the Enforcers of Chicago.
Yeah, we just talked about him, and here he is from the Wheeling Police Department, played at Harper Junior College. We just talked about Mark Brown, 10 years. This is now the 11th season for Rick Richardson, and a winner and a key piece of this Chicago attack.
Our broadcast of Charlotte and Chicago here on the NPSFL network being brought to you by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Since 9/11, Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families. We're also committed to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September the 11th. 2001. You can visit T2T.org for more information or to make your donation today. Special thanks to Tunnel to Towers Foundation.
3rd and 10 Cobras.
Another third down here. Let's see if they can get this ball to Geis on this third down play.
Brown just out of the reach of Stedman Graham. Graham laying out almost, but it's not enough. 4th down.
That is a tough one for Charlotte to swallow, because Stedman Graham had a step here right there. He sort of holds up because he's also looking at the safety who's coming over to try to lock things down. But Stedman Graham did have a step on his defender until the safety came over to make things a little bit more difficult. That was Nick Zaney who came over to try and slow things down. Rather, that was Pat Egan, as a matter of fact. But at any rate, a bit of a miscommunication, a disconnect, and it's a 4th down now for Charlotte.
Kyshawn Merchant. Another punt. That's tough and hit immediately. Caught it, though, and held on to it. That's not only a great catch, but also a nice tackle. And that was Brandon Ruffin to get it, hitting him immediately on that physical play. Nice job by Ruffin to hold on to the ball.
Probably should have called for a fair catch there, quite frankly. Took a big hit there. much in the way of a return that was going to happen for him there. Get the feeling, though, Corey, that both teams are easing into this football game as we take a look at another player spotlight, another player to watch, Elon Chamberlain. Love that name. His 4th season with the Chicago PD Enforcers. You got to love this. A South Side Chicago native, signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks before injuries cut his baseball career short. We are talking about guys who are gifted in not just football, but so many other sports as well.
Yeah, Brian Finley talking about his guys being action-oriented, really high snap. Tapling, though, able to gather it in, is going to make this play a little sour. Not much up front after the high snap. Then Dave Moore got it and tried to sneak his way through.
You mentioned Devin Easter.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They know him around here. Police officer with Charlotte Mecklenburg. As you mentioned just a second ago, Corey went to UNC Charlotte. Now have you seen him much? I know that you're around this area quite a bit.
I remember the last name, so I probably did early years at UNC Charlotte.
6 seasons for him as a part of the Charlotte Cobras. A lot of veterans across the board here on these two teams. And Brian Finley talked about that a little bit as well. Got a good group of returnees. Also have 20 new players this year on the roster.
Yeah. Easter, who played for East Lincoln High School. Tapling fires it. Tapling hooks up with Brandon Ruffin. And Ruffin still going, flying past midfield. Nice connection that time. Tapling to Ruffin, and then he put on those jets for Chicago PD.
He absolutely did. After he made that catch, just a great knack and a way of getting away from defenders there to find some space to the outside. Not easy to do. A lot of congestion in there, and Ruffin had a skillful way of getting around it.
Ruffin, who played for the Fighting Saints of the University of St. Francis in college. Fresh set of downs at the 48-yard line of Charlotte. Tapling fakes a handoff, rolls, spins around, fires it far side, leaning out, pulling it in. Incomplete. Almost. Rob Kudzia had it, and they rule it incomplete. He thought he had it, but the officials say differently.
Looks like Jamal Livingston got away with one right there, the Charlotte defensive back. And they end up catching a break there because the receiver was wide open on the far side.
Kudzia, who played for North Park University in his college days. Kudzia, the Chicago native, 4-year letter winner as a wide receiver for his high school football team. Played high school at John F. Kennedy High. Tapling slings it, connects with Ruffin again with blockers. Screenplay that time, little wide receiver screen. Get it to Ruffin, let the blockers ahead pave the way. He gets this one inside the 45 of Charlotte.
We were talking with a coach last year for a game, and they were talking about one of their players and how that player has a lot of wiggle to him.
Yeah.
Brandon Ruffle has some wiggle.
Yeah.
Ruffin plays with a lot of wiggle. Hard to get down.
Saying Ruffin has ridges, ruffles. Ruffin has ridges.
You reached a bit for that one, but I'll take it.
A little bit. It's just my favorite brand of chip. I could use some of those to go with this free hot dog and hamburger we got from Tim, head of the officials today. Thanks again, Tim, for that. But I could use some Ruffles chips to pair. Under 7.5 to go first quarter. Scoreless between Chicago and Charlotte. Tapling with time, hit hard. Tapling able to connect and find his target, Rob Kudzia. Now that is definitely a completed pass play. Hauls it in at the 32-yard line.
Really good job by the offensive line that time. They pick up the blitz, and Kudzia is wide open there for that hookup for the first down for Chicago. You want your quarterbacks to be able to pick up blitzes, pick up coverages quickly, because everything happens so fast. You've got to be able to see a whole lot in a short amount of time.
Tapling fakes again. Tapling throws it away. He had Pat Gallagher. Second down. Got a flag down.
Quarterback ended up getting dropped. Just to remind you, we do rotate officials every 10 minutes. Got about 100 or so here, so they all get action. We rotate 10 minutes of game action.
Now for Tapling, their quarterback has a special relationship with his head coach, Brian Finley. After all, Finley started with Chicago as a offensive lineman. Even Finley said the offensive linemen and their quarterbacks have a special relationship. And in the case of Adam Tapling, he played with Brian Finley when Finley was still playing football, and it's an impressive player anyway, AB, Adam Tapling. Although as we extol some of what Tapling's good at, he gets hit with the penalty there on the intentional grounding.
Happens every single time, it seems like, doesn't it?
Always.
You sing the praises of a player and he ends up getting penalized.
Penalized, yep. He's looked good up until that. Second and long, back the football up to the 40-yard line. Tapling, some hard hitting up front, hands it off. Gain of a couple into the chest of Dave Moore, who takes it ahead.
If you can do nothing else defensively, you can always bring physicality, right? You can always bring some intensity defensively. Good way to get yourself into a ball game, especially this early in the season, is to just bring some power, bring some fire defensively. It helps energize the team on both sides, offense and defense, when you do that.
9 offensive linemen traveling with Chicago. They got in a couple days ago. Finley and the team making it to Charlotte, starting 5, but especially important because of the 9 offensive linemen who traveled from Chicago, and even Finley said that's good because guys can get a break. He really said the goal today is to run hard and fast, not give the defense of Charlotte any kind of a break. Tapling with time. Tapling rolls, fires. That one caught just shy of the 10, marking it about the 13. Nice pass play. Rob Cudzia again from Tapling, and Chicago PD on the move.
How about that pass there? Had to get that one just by Devin Easter against the zone coverage, and the quarterback did. That pass was on the money. There was not much open there. He had to stay alive and keep that play going in order to find the receiver downfield.
Mark it at the 14, so just inside the 15-yard line. Another first down pickup for Cudzia, who had his college season primarily in 2013 when he put up some numbers. Give goes to Bryant Piscasio, and Piscasio maybe a yard. Second down coming up.
Always looking to, as a defender, especially for a running back, when he's athletic and he's quick, has quick feet, you want to take away that cutback ability. Good job there by the defense of Charlotte of not allowing Piscasio to cut back.
Offensive line up front for Chicago, called the ride and die guys for head coach Brian Finley. They're young guys up front especially. Team that knows about inside zone. They understand that concept, and we mentioned all the good ones that traveled. Tapling in zone. Throws it past Trent Yancey. Third down coming up.
Another break that time for Charlotte as Yancey was open towards the back of the end zone. Pass just a bit overthrown. On the other hand, if you're going to do something in the end zone, you want to make sure it's overthrown so that the defenders don't have an opportunity to get to it.
Yancey, who played football for Western Illinois, the Leathernecks, another Chicago native, and went to Simeon High School. There's a name for you.
It's a big third down here, though.
Adam Tapling, couple drops, Tapling slings it. It's incomplete as Tapling looking for Wade Overton out of Bellwood Fire Department. That's incomplete, 4th down.
They were just a little bit behind Overton that time. Wouldn't have gotten all of it there on that play, but you certainly like to be a little bit closer here. Now it's a 4th down, and as we've talked about, you're not going to see a lot of field goals and things like that at this level in this league. So there'll be a lot of going for it on 4th down, and here's one of those opportunities.
Huddle breaks, and Chicago ready to go here on 4th down and 9. Tapling gets the football, now steps up. Adam Tapling with a blocker. Tapling tackled but rolls his way. Did he get in? Stopped at the 1-yard line.
It's a great play by Tapling. Mobile quarterbacks, I tell you, we see it time and time again. You've got to be able to make something out of nothing. He makes a great quick decision, gets that one bit of protection there in the backfield, and then takes off towards the 1-yard line before being dragged down by Devin Easter. What a great play by Tapling.
Yeah, Easter saved the touchdown against the Chicago Catholic League Player of the Year. That's Adam Tapling, 7-8 years with the Chicago Police Department, now with the Chicago Fire Department. This is the play from the 1. Chicago trying to reach pay dirt here with Tapling. He's somewhere down there.
Looked like that ball came out initially, Corey, and there was a mad scramble after it. Chicago lucky to get it back.
Yeah. 2nd and goal. Tapling turns around, hands it off, room up front. That's a touchdown for Chicago, and that's Rick Richardson who's in there for 6 points. Give it to Richardson, let him go.
Tapling sets it up, and then he hands it off and just need that 1 yard. Squirt ahead, and you get the 6 points. I tell you, that's just a great job. I give Tapling so much credit there of keeping that last big play alive to set Chicago up for that scoring opportunity.
Yeah, Richardson, another one from Western Illinois, Arlington Heights, Illinois native, went to Prospect High School, and as a senior in 2011, played 11 games for Western Illinois.
Got an extra point here, Corey.
Chris Linty for the somewhat rare extra point today. It'll be our first one of the day, the first attempt, maybe the first make, and we get both. So Chris Linty, 7-0, looks a bit more traditional, 7-0 Chicago over Charlotte. Back after this on the NPSFL Network.
We frequently either stop looking for signs of hope, praying for a swift end to our agonizing pain. As one who has walked down this road, I can honestly say that nothing I have ever done has given me more hope, more relief. I renew my courage like my relationship to ECAN, especially the reception of my new best friend, Dozel.
We're back. It's the first quarter, and Chicago leads it 7-0 over Charlotte. 2:19 to go in the first. Chicago was happy about things. They had a good training camp, good group of returning players. Even Finley's goal, head coach Brian Finley for the Enforcers, was to get the roster to about 80 as much as possible. Equipment went out to 74 players. This is probably going to be their roster for all of 2025, but a healthy Chicago team with a lot of players. Here's the boot from Tapling, so another quarterback to do the special teams work, just like we saw with Tri-State earlier. Return, Kevin Alford, and Alford glides just past the 30-yard line on the return for Charlotte. Today's broadcast here on the NPSFL Network being brought to you by the ECAD, the Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. Our mission at the ECAD is to enable people with disabilities to gain greater independence and mobility through the use of specially educated dogs. You can visit ecad1.org today to learn more about our Service Dogs program. Back to work for Charlotte, just past the 30-yard line, 1st and 10. Mark Brown hands it off to Jonathan McClure for a couple. 2nd down for Charlotte. Hi again, everyone. Corey Hodges, that's Armand Brody. Thanks for being with us today on this Saturday. And Armand, an exciting game 2 of our big Saturday jamboree of football. Nice weather, and good to see the home team here going against Chicago.
Yeah, and Charlotte's still sort of settling into this ball game here a bit. They need that offensive spark. Who's going to provide it here?
2nd down. Brown drops. Brown over the middle, incomplete. Had Devin Geis. Geis, who is out of Auburn, incomplete, 3rd down. He had him, Armand, he just couldn't get it to him.
If you were going to make a play there, that was the play to make. Just could not connect there with Geis.
Geis, who's played at Auburn from Opelika, Alabama. Last season for Geis was in 2021. Came through with 7 total tackles, 3 assisted tackles for his career, 11 total tackles as an Auburn Tiger. Third and 10 for Charlotte. Brown finds it. Alford picks it up and gets a 1st down for the Cobras.
And Alford and Stedman Graham that time running inside routes, and just you sort of pick your poison that time on that play. Quarterback made a good decision. Get a nice gain out of it.
Today's broadcast also being brought to you by the Billy Moon Foundation. Organ donation can have a profound impact on not just a recipient, but donors and communities as well. At the Billy Moon Foundation, they strive to be that lifeline of support for those in need. You can visit billymoonfoundation.org for more information on how you can register to become an organ donor, and do that today. Fresh set of downs for Charlotte with under a half minute to go in the 1st quarter. Just a yard shy of midfield at their 49-yard line. Brown, the very much vetted quarterback of this Cobras team, stands in, incomplete. Brown looking for Geis, 2nd down.
And Chicago brought the pressure that time, and Brown did all he could to just get rid of that football.
Brown came to this team 10, 11 years ago. Took him time to read some coverages, considering he had never played football, obviously basketball, baseball at Aiken. But some teams like to throw mixed coverages at Brown, Armand, to try to confuse him a bit. But he's gotten to the point now, he kind of knows what's going on in NPSFL football.
Yeah, that's the advantage you have when you've been around this long. You have a firmer handle, firmer grasp of what's happening around you. On that last play, though, Chicago had it read like a book and blew the offensive line up, and Brown never really had a chance to get anything started.
Brown directing some traffic up front, sends Geis over towards his left. 11 seconds to go in the 1st. 2nd and 10, from just a yard into their territory for Charlotte. Might be the final play of the 1st quarter. Geis is going to come all the way back around. Now Brown ripping it. Far side, it's intercepted as Brown gets picked off by Jalen Woods. Woods with the INT to take it away from Brown. With just 3 seconds to go in the 1st quarter, that's a nice way to almost end this 1st quarter, AB, after you already got a touchdown in the extra point.
And the pass was overthrown here. Brown is going to step up just a little bit in the pocket, and this pass is overthrown. He was trying to get it to Jabri Ridenour. He overthrew it. Well played. Good coverage, and, of course, good job by Jalen Woods of following through with the catch along the boundary.
Jalen Woods of the Chicago Police Department comes up with the interception. Enforcers back with it, just 3 seconds left first quarter. Chicago 3 wide. Tapling turns around, hands it to Pescasio. Pescasio with a couple, clatters past the 30 to set up second down on the other side. Second quarter coming up next, 7-0 the lead for the Chicago Police Department Enforcers over the Cobras of Charlotte here on the NPSFL Network. Today's broadcast of Charlotte and Chicago here on the NPSFL Network being brought to you by On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey. It's inspired by everyday heroes like nurses, police officers, teachers, and firefighters. They make this country so loved and so respected, and they keep the military tradition of grabbing a drink to celebrate someone who's got your six. You can visit OnYourSix.com today to purchase your first bottle. I could go for some On Your Six. I'm a teetotaler, but you know what? A celebratory day like this, some spring football, I'm not going to break my streak, but hey, it's something that you should pick up and try. It's some great folks at On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey.
You know what, though it is a day of celebration, watching these people who make our lives better go out here and do something a little different, but do something that they love. And it takes me right back to Brian Finley and all he said about playing for one another and caring for the guy beside you. Really a special day, special opportunity for you and for you and me to be a part of this, and really glad about that.
I am too, and also Andy Singleton, who's been a big part of our preparation coming into this week. We had a Zoom call with Andy earlier in the week, and he was saying the same things. I mean, look, you got to understand, these guys have a lot of responsibilities. Tapling goes deep. Tapling hooks up with Brandon Ruffin, and Ruffin is going to go all the way for a touchdown for Chicago. And it's a 13-0 start for the Enforcers as Tapling hangs in and then connects with Ruffin. That was so impressive.
It's been some half for Brandon Ruffin, and the timing here is just a thing of beauty. That safety is coming over, and that pass is on the money for Ruffin. He brings it in and then breaks free, has a couple of opportunities to look behind him and can outrace everybody into the end zone. Just a thing of beauty from quarterback to receiver, and they get another 6 points.
Chris Linty now for another extra point try. Jake Glotzer with the hold.
Is it on wheels?
Linty looking to go extra point number 2, make of the day. He does. And really a perfect start for Chicago PD. 14-0 over Charlotte. That was just a quick strike right there, Tapling to Ruffin, and they just didn't waste any time.
Really?
Coverage on this Saturday also brought to you by Fund the First. FundTheFirst.com. It's the #1 trusted and free fundraising platform for those who serve their families and their friends. Fund the First is in the business of supporting first responders, military, and medical professionals. Visit FundTheFirst.com today to launch your fundraiser. Charlotte needs to get going here. Chicago with Salvo, the 2 touchdowns. And considering this is their first game of the season, Charlotte has the experience on the season, but they need to get something going. They'll have their next opportunity here.
Yeah, who would have thought, right?
I know.
We talked about Charlotte and their great start to the season, winning that first game 21-8, and Chicago's come around here and smacked them around a bit.
Tapling, backing up. Geis now on the return. Geis, near side, steps out just past the 35. A little extra leap there for Brandon Brooks in coverage, and Brooks knocked over the trash can.
That's hard running, isn't it?
That is.
Hard playing, hard competition.
Yeah.
Charlotte needs to get into this game a bit. They need a good drive, and I think one of the best ways to do that is to let's see how we can get Geis involved. You know he's a threat on the outside as a return man. How can we get Geis involved in this football game here? What kind of unique play calls can Charlie Davis and his staff dial up to get Geis in some space and get him the ball in his hands in space?
1st and 10 from the 37-yard line here for Charlotte, trailing by 2 scores, just 21 seconds into the second quarter. 14-0 Chicago. Charlotte team that started practicing around December, but by January, Charlie Davis thought he pretty much had the best receiving core that he's had in over 20 years here in the Queen City. Brown, near side, that is tipped, incomplete. Brown looking for Geis, the coverage from Jalen Woods, 2nd down.
So I said try and get the ball to Geis, right? I didn't mean that way. Right. That's not a pass you want to make. There was double coverage the entire time. Brown should not have thrown that ball in that direction. Lucky that that pass was not picked off by Chicago.
San Diego tried to pound this Charlotte team due to Charlotte being short on numbers, making that trip out west, but
kudos to Charlotte, too, while you're talking about that 3,000 miles you travel for that first game of the season, and then you run into some unexpected weather as well, but they were able to tough it out and come up with that 2-score victory at San Diego.
Yeah, kind of some of that early year weather you sometimes see, especially on the coast of California. It was windy, wet and rainy. Charlotte was down 11 to 12 players that couldn't make the long trip. Brown under pressure. Brown gets sacked. Chicago, the Windy City. How about some big gales up front, charging in, getting the sack. Michael Applehans gets in there to take down Brown.
I tell you, it's been, when you make that kind of a play, all it does is it sends your defense's confidence from a 10 to a 20.
Yeah.
Right now, Chicago has Charlotte's number, and Charlotte has got to regroup here. They've got to find a way to generate some offense. But here's the other problem. You keep finding yourself in these 2nd and these 3rd and longs, and you're already behind. And we talked about that in our keys to the game. You've got to stay ahead of the chains, and Charlotte has not been able to do that to this point.
3rd and long for Charlotte. Brown looking to go deep, trying to get the yardage back, overthrows his wide receiver. It's 4th down. Brown had Alford looking at him, but he got covered up by 2 for Chicago, and Charlotte will punt.
Chicago brought a blitz from the edge, and even with that, Brown has got to sharpen up his decision-making a bit. There have been a few times in this first half where he has thrown the ball into some obvious double coverage, and you do not want to help the defense stop you. Some of Brown's passes have been a bit ill-timed. Want to get that a little bit more under control here as the game rolls along.
Jesse Morris and Jake Glotzer in coverage that time around Alford. Brandon Ruffin, who's having the big game so far, back and ready to return. Following the Charlotte punt, we do have a flag down. It's on Charlotte, so they'll back it up here on the forthcoming punt.
And all this does is give Chicago a better opportunity at good field position here. They're already almost assured of decent field position at worst. 5-yard penalty gives even better opportunity for Chicago to have the ball on the plus side of the field.
Snap, bit high, but handled. Merchant with the punt. This one downed about 5 yards shy of midfield, so the hands team was down there to knock it away, never gave Ruffin a chance. So Chicago, the Enforcers, leading 14-0, will have the football back and they'll start inside of Charlotte territory again on their next drive.
Could you ask for a better start, though,
No.
if you're Chicago?
It's been perfect.
On the road, the weather's great.
Yeah.
And not only are you gifted with a 2-score lead, but you end up with the ball here on this next possession with your offense flying high, feeling good, quarterback feeling good, performing well, and you get the ball at the 41-yard line on the plus side of the field. That's like heaven for Brian Finley.
After the long trip down, it's been a great start. Not bad, too, for these teams. Chicago's one of them. Only get 1 practice per week, 2 hours per week to hit each other, get some contact in, so then you get ready to play on the weekend. The 41-yard line, just inside the 40, gain of a couple that time on the play. Bryant Piscasio.
You know, you make a good point there too, Corey. There's something to be said about, especially early in the season, we were talking with Chicago coach Brian Finley. You get to a point where, you know what, you say, I just want to hit somebody.
I know. Right. I want to take out.
You almost don't feel right until you've hit somebody. You
Yeah.
say that about Brett Favre all the time. I just need to hit somebody.
Right.
Somebody hits me, I hit somebody else. That's when I know I'm playing football.
You know, Finley's old school anyway. You have to go back to 1984 to find his first year playing organized football. After that 2-yard gain, this is to the 35-yard line. Pick up about 4 more. Get this one down to the 35. It'll set up 3rd down on the carry for Dave Moore.
Nice little change of pace there. Dave
Yep.
Moore, physical, trying to stay low to the ground. Make defenders have to work to tackle you. See if you can eke out a couple more yards in the process.
Been seeing the guy they call Speedy, and that's Bryant Piscasio. So we know we'll continue to see him. He was the one that Finley highlighted coming into the game. Tapling rifles it quick. Charlotte there to cover it up. Caught by Overton, but the Cobras let him go no further. Caught it in a crowd. It's 4th down for Chicago.
Good job, too, there by Colin Hayes, who made that tackle from the Concord Police Department.
Fourth and 4 from the 35-yard line here for Chicago. Leading 14-0, just over 11 minutes to go in the second quarter. Tapling with Speedy. Bryant Piscasio alongside, needing 4 yards to keep the drive alive. Tapling fakes it. Tapling gets moving. Tapling fires it, incomplete. Turnover on downs for Chicago. He had Speedy Piscasio, but those two couldn't shake hands, and Charlotte gets the football back.
Charlotte catches a break there. Could have gone to Piscasio first time early.
Yeah.
Didn't. Scrambles, has him again, and just overthrew him. Charlotte will take that, and they needed that break. Charlotte's got to get into this ballgame offensively a bit. And maybe that break can help turn things around for them, because Chicago was marching down the field and things looked pretty promising there. They had that short field after the punt.
Yeah. This is big for Charlotte if they can capitalize from it. They'll start 1st and 10 from the 35-yard line. Brown. That is caught far side, just past the 40. Pulled in by Stedman Graham. Gain of about 5, maybe 6. Looks like 6, 2nd and 4 coming up for Charlotte.
Stedman's been a consistent weapon for them. You talked about Emery and Henry. Your dad went
Yep.
there, right?
Mm-hmm.
Stedman did too. Don't take a lot of chances right now if you're on the back end of the Chicago defense. You do not have to take too many chances and bite the bait here.
2nd and 4 from the 40. Again, back to Graham. That's a first down pickup just past the 45-yard line. Goes back to work and elevates to make the catch on the pinpoint pass from Mark Brown.
It's a good first down for Charlotte. They're running some simple plays here, some quick passes, quick hitters to the outside, trying to get this offense into a rhythm, and that's a good way to do it with some short, simple throws. Pick you up a first down, and now you can start to roll a little bit.
1st and 10 from the 46-yard line for Charlotte. On the move now. Under 9.5 to go in the second quarter. Chicago leading this one 14-0. It's interesting, Graham, mainly a defensive player at Emery and Henry, but he's been great offensively so far in this second quarter. There's Brown trying to rifle it to Geis. It's incomplete, 2nd down.
So they bring pressure from the right side of the offensive line, forces a bit of a hurried throw and decreases the accuracy of that pass. And that's all you want to do if you're a defense. Can we get into the backfield? We don't always have to get the sack. The goal is not to always get a sack. The goal is not even always to get a turnover. Can we disrupt timing? Can we get our hands up? Can we make the offensive line have to work a little bit harder to try and protect the quarterback and keep the quarterback clean? Can we hurry the quarterback? Those are the things you always look to accomplish as a defense.
2nd and 10 from their 46. Mark Brown with some pressure. Brown gets it away quick to avoid the would-be tacklers. Gets that one to Marquise Turner. Turner, who's down close to midfield. It'll be 3rd down. In fact, they'll mark it right at midfield for Charlotte.
With the way Chicago is bringing pressure here, timing is of the essence for Charlotte. These timing patterns, these timing passes, these quick screens, these quick passes, the timing has to be so good because Chicago is bringing the pressure right now. And if you don't get that ball out quickly, your quarterback's going to be running for his life.
Third and 6 from midfield for Charlotte. Brown again finds Graham on the far side of the field, gets it into Chicago territory, just a yard shy of the first down. It'll be 4th and short.
Yep, 4th and 1 here.
At the 45 of Chicago. This is a rather big 4th down play when you're trailing 14-0 and the offense has looked the best so far of the day on this drive.
It absolutely is a big play for Charlotte. The question is, who do they turn to? Stedman Graham is a possibility. Devin Geis a possibility. Kevin Alford a possibility. Who do they go to here? They spread it out, interestingly enough. They spread it out here on this 4th down. Something quick.
Yeah, Marquise Turner is the back. Doesn't look like with the alignment they'll go to him here. 4th and 1 on the 45-yard line. Brown needing it. It's dropped in and out of the hands of Devin Geis. You said it, AB. They throw it. That's what Brown did. Incomplete to Geis. Turnover on down. Chicago takes over, leading 14-0.
It looked like the easier play to make there would have been to Marquise Turner coming out of the flat. They try and get it to Geis, who was behind Turner, and they couldn't shake hands on it.
Just 1 yard, all that Charlotte needed, couldn't get it. So now the momentum right back to Chicago. They weather that storm on that good drive for Charlotte that bogged down at the 45.
And the pendulum swings Chicago's way again.
Again. First and 10. Pick it up at the 45-yard line for Chicago. Tapling zings it, incomplete. Tapling looking for Rob Kudzia again, 2nd down.
You always look for your offensive linemen to really anchor your offense. And Brian Finley was even talking about that. You were mentioning his old school mentality just a little bit ago. I love that line he gave us about how his philosophy was, I come from the era where you just lined them up and knocked them flat.
Right. I can't think of anything more emblematic of Chicago, especially when it comes to football, than that right there.
Mm-hmm. Line them up and knock them flat.
That's it. 2nd and 10, under 7.5 to go before halftime. Tappling, rolling, firing, connecting with Rob Cudzia, who still has it. Flag down as Cudzia gets inside the 10. Finley told us they're going to rely on Cudzia a lot, and they are, and we'll see if this play stands.
Corey, I think they threw a flag on the block that Brandon Ruffin, number 19, the receiver, threw down the field. Ruffin is hot about it. That flag was thrown right after he threw that extra block down the field after the catch was made.
Ruffin gets an explanation about it quickly and runs back towards the team. One of the younger players for Chicago. He's feeling his game here to start.
They're calling it a block in the back. And Ruffin is arguing that he did not block in the back. His block was cleaner than that.
We'll mark this at the 24-yard line for Chicago. So the gain is 21 yards. And then that penalty.
You know, even with that penalty, I guess in some ways, Corey, we shouldn't be surprised at how Chicago looks here. Brian Finley did say that they had a good week of practice.
They did.
Said a lot of yelling going on.
Yeah.
A lot of good yelling.
Right. 7 minutes to go in the second. We've got a bunch of our viewers chiming in and letting us know what they think today, so we'll get some shout outs going. This is a sack. Let's shout out the defense of Charlotte as Tappling gets taken down by Denzel Samuels out of the Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. Samuels gets in, gets a sack on Tappling. 2nd and long upcoming.
That's one of the first times we've heard from Denzel in this game.
It's a great time for the NPSFL and to be a part of this. Of course, we're on X as well to join in. Rest of the broadcast, if you like. Tell you about how you can do that in a moment. Also, you'll want to follow the NPSFL on X as well. But we'll give some shout outs here in a moment. Following this 2nd and 12 play for Chicago. Snap, low, dropped initially. Tappling picked it up and then completes it back to Rob Cudzia again. Safety blanket right now for Chicago, but we knew that coming in. 3rd down.
Cudzia is such a dependable target. He's been thrown too short. He's been thrown too long. A lot of trust they have in Rob.
5.5 to go in the second quarter. Shout out to Mike Emanuelson. Canerco's Benerco. I know where that one's going to come in from Chicago. Canerco, the hero of the World Series back in the early 2000s.
05, wasn't it?
05.
Houston?
Yeah. Uh-huh. Yeah, I know where that username's coming from. Paul Canerco. End zone shot. Intercepted. Tappling looking for his favorite target, Cudzia, and it's picked off by Charlotte. An interception.
Oh, boy. Chicago's going to regret that. Tappling had a man open, a little swing pass to the left. Instead, he goes the other way. Throws this thing into the end zone, and a great job, just great coverage there that time in the end zone as he picks that one off. But I thought for sure that pass was going to be swung to the left down the flat.
So Charlotte will take back over. 4:57 to go before halftime. Crystal Henderson joining in, Renika Morris. Joe O'Malley, Kevin Stevens. If you want to follow along with the broadcast team, I'm on X at @THE_Corey, COREY, Hodges, HODGES. Give me a follow. I'll follow you back. Armand Brody's on X as well. You can follow him there at Brody, BROADY, Armand, ARMAND. Give us a follow. Let us know where you're watching from, how you're liking things. We'll try to get you involved the rest of today. Thanks to everyone following with us on this Saturday. And off for Charlotte here on first down. It'll make it second down now for the Cobras. They're keeping it on the ground, trailing by 2 scores, under 5 to go before halftime.
This is a big drive, Corey. Charlotte needs to go into the halftime break with something positive. Even if it's a field goal, something positive. Get that 0 off the board. And this may be the last opportunity they have of the half to try and make that happen.
Second and long here from the 19-yard line for Charlotte. Second and 12. So they're backed up a bit, not into the end zone, but backed up a little here for Mark Brown and Charlotte. Brown rolls, gets it again to Stedman Graham. Graham's turning into really the Rob Cudzia for Charlotte right now.
Yeah, you make a good point. You've got 2 guys that these quarterbacks have been turning to in times of peril to say, hey, make a play for us. And for the most part, both Graham and Cudzia have answered the call. Already, though, a third down here for Charlotte. You don't want to find yourself having to deal with another 4th down this quickly, giving Chicago another 3 minutes or 2.5 minutes plus to try and extend this lead.
3rd and 7 from the 23-yard line. 2-score game. Here's Brown, gets a snap, steps back, fires it. It's caught again. Stedman Graham has a first down, and Graham falls just past the 45 to the 46 and picks up a gain of 23 yards. Graham from Mark Brown. That was impressive.
It was impressive indeed. Now they're trying to get this offense going a bit, and Stedman Graham has been one of the key guys. Wasn't even sure if that pass was going to him. It was a bit low. Stedman had to catch it at about knee level. Great concentration, and then he fights to try and gain that extra yardage after making that catch low.
10 from the 46 for Charlotte. Just 4 yards shy of midfield. 2:40 and counting left in the second quarter. Not bad for Graham, the Harrisburg, North Carolina native. Hard hit up front, looking for any kind of room. Chicago's not going to allow it as Marquise Turner pushed back. One of those in on the gang tackling was Jason Nguida. Gains a yard, so 2nd and 9 for Charlotte after the play to Marquise Turner on the run. And here's your 2-minute timeout. We're back after this on the NPSFL Network.
If you've been injured on the job, first notify your employer, seek immediate medical attention, and then call me at 516-280-4033. We act aggressively to litigate your matters to conclusion, and we keep you fully informed throughout the litigation process. I'm here to fight for you.
Today's broadcast of Chicago and Charlotte here on the NPSFL Network being brought to you by On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey. It's inspired by everyday heroes like nurses, police officers, teachers, and firefighters as well. They all make this country so loved and respected, so keep the military tradition of grabbing a drink to celebrate someone who's got your six. Visit OnYourSix.com today and purchase your first bottle of On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey. 2nd and 9. from the 46-yard line for Charlotte, trailing by 14 following the 2-minute timeout. Brown rolls, pressure. Brown now reverts course. Mark Brown gets free, and Brown throws it incomplete, just out of the reach of Devin Geis. 3rd down.
Brown does all he can there to keep that play alive. Rolling to his right, then coming back to his left, running for his life. Just could not make that connection with Devin Geis. They have tried in many different ways to get Devin Geis really involved in this game.
Yeah.
And it's not something I think they need to give up on. You got to keep trying to find ways to get Devin Geis, who's such an explosive talent, trying to find ways to get Devin Geis to football and have him make big things happen in the second half.
I mean, these are the receivers, Armand, that Coach Davis was telling us about, the reason why Mark Brown's been smiling and happy. He's got so many of these skills on the outside. All he has to do is get them the ball.
Yeah.
He's been trying to do that. Once he does, you feel like it'll generate something for Charlotte, but he's got plenty of weapons just trying to make those connections. That scrubbed 8 seconds off the second quarter clock, minute 52 left in the first half. 3rd and 9 from the 47. Mark Brown. Brown dropped the interception, was in and out of the hands of Randall Maxey. Almost came up with it as Brown looked towards Ridnour. 4th down.
Too much air under that one for Brown, and it's a 4th down here for Charlotte, I tell you. Even with the struggles Charlotte has had offensively, there have been still a few different times where Chicago could have had even more forced turnovers here. Maxey had that one, and they read it well. Chicago, you got to give them credit. They played such good coverage on the back end, not just up front, but on the back end. They have been there to confuse at times the quarterback, and it's worked to their advantage on more than one occasion.
The punt kind of burrows its way through a couple players. A low driving punt off the foot of Vincent Mancino and stopped at around the 30-yard line. That's where Chicago will take over with 96 seconds left in the first half and up 2 scores.
Chicago has some time here.
Yep.
Got some timeouts as well. At the 30-yard line, pretty good field position. You don't have to settle here and just go into the halftime break content. They can take a shot. Let's see what they do.
Season certainly started in a fun way with that big kickoff party at 115 Bourbon Street in Chicago. Over 400 people there to cheer on the enforcers. Even Coach Kennelly said it's a great party, it's a great time, and nice for the sponsors, the wives, the girlfriends, even the kids to come out. Finley was happy about the showing at the kickoff party. Tappling. This one caught by Yancey. Yancey scurrying past the 30, around the 33-yard line where he goes out. Pickup of about 4, 2nd down. Minute 20 to go.
It's become a staple of so many offenses now, really at every level of football. You want to run these short, quick plays just to get your skill position players in space to try and do something on the outside. That's what the thinking was there, and they get 3 yards out of it.
Pickup of 3, 2nd and 7. Dancing now is Tappling. He gets some pass blocking. Tappling now reverting course himself. Buying time, Tappling throwing it along the sideline and incomplete. He's chased out of bounds the whole way by Kari Owens. Now we've got, again, all of our viewers checking in, including the Paul Canerco supporters, Canerco's Bonerco, saying that we subscribed, liked, and shared, and they're actually streaming the broadcast today at Bonerco's Sports Cards and More in Mount Greenwood. That's 3143 West 111th Street in Chicago. Lots of kids are watching it, and they want to say, go CPD Enforcers. So hello to everyone at Bonerco's Sports Cards and More. Hi, everyone at Bonerco's. We appreciate your support and watching all the way in Chicago. 49 seconds left. Chicago PD with possession. Tappling connects. Goes right back to, you guessed it, Rob Cudzia. Needed 8 yards. And gets them for the first down.
Needed 8 and got 8. Such
Yeah.
a great job there. Kudya runs such a good route. It's another thing that's impressed me about him so far in this game, his route running ability. He gets exactly to the spot with about another half yard to spare and picks up that first down for Chicago. They've got 42 seconds here. They've got a few timeouts as well. They can make something happen here before the halftime break.
We've been shouting out Chicago. Certainly nice to have their support. Also, country_girl70 saying, get it together, Cobras. So, Charlotte fans, we haven't forgotten about you either right here in the Queen City today. First and 10 from the 41. Tapling deep. Hooks up, and that's complete down to the 10-yard line. Tapling connects again with Ruffin. Ruffin, another big impressive play on that pickup through the air down the near sideline.
This is just trusted confidence in a great receiver with a lot of speed. This ball is on the money. Ruffin has his defender beat down the sideline. The pass is on the money. Ruffin brings it in with his hands with a thing of beauty. Even took a late hit after it that was not called, but a big catch for Chicago, setting them up inside the 15-yard line here.
Gain of 47 yards that time as Tapling links up with Ruffin.
It's all about trust, all about confidence, all about timing. Chicago is clicking right now offensively, doing all of this inside a minute.
Yeah, Maurice Weaver coming up limping a little bit for Charlotte. North Carolina A&T Aggie, in his playing time, he'll take a seat on the Charlotte sideline. Big position now for Chicago, 34 seconds left before halftime, and they've got it down to the 12-yard line, first and 10.
And with 2 timeouts left, Corey, they can run pretty much anything at this point.
Yeah.
The playbook is wide open.
Today's broadcast being brought to you by the Billy Moon Foundation. We'll tell you about them. The Billy Moon Foundation, it's all about organ donation and how it can have that profound impact on not just a recipient, but donors and communities as well. At the Billy Moon Foundation, they strive to be that lifeline of support for those in need. You can visit billymoonfoundation.org for more information on how you can register to become an organ donor, and we encourage you to do that today. Adam Tapling and Chicago driving again, leading 14-0, looking to add on to it. Tapling, that one pulled in, falling backwards by Brandon Speedy Pescasio. And now with 24 seconds left, it'll be second and short coming up with the clock running. Chicago calls a timeout.
So they've got 1 timeout left. And I tell you, it's been a team effort here. This offense has impressed me from Chicago. Pescasio's made some plays. Of course, you know that the quarterback, Adam Tapling, has been on the money throughout this half. And, of course, I mean, my goodness, when you talk about the performance to this point of Brandon Ruffin on our typical broadcast, the broadcast we've been doing together for the last 3+ years now, we always have a player of the game. And I tell you, to this point, Brandon Ruffin would most definitely be that guy. He's had quite a first half here.
He has, and then you've got someone like Pescasio who's kind of putting his name into the equation too. Certainly head coach Brian Finley loves Pescasio and calls him explosive and powerful. He can cut, but he can also put the shoulder down. Just a high football IQ. 2nd and 1 from the 4-yard line. Enforcers knocking on the door again, trying to score late before halftime. Give, and room opens up for Pescasio to get into the end zone to score. Touchdown, Chicago with Pescasio. We just said it. He's explosive and powerful, and he used it all that time to manipulate and take advantage of that open space up front.
Yeah, he lost the football, too. It was popped down, but he was already well into the end zone. The touchdown had already been achieved. So that's a score for Chicago, another one, and they are up now 3 scores on this Charlotte team on the road in Charlotte with a 3-score lead now.
Yeah, this is big. Trying to add the extra point. Chris Linty Trying to go 3 for 3 today with extra points. Linty stays perfect. Another good hold for Glotzer. There's another look at the extra point from Chris Linty.
3 for 3 in this half, and
Yeah.
it's everything's pretty much going right for Chicago here, Corey.
Yeah.
They are clicking on all cylinders. They're getting stops defensively. They're really making life difficult for Brown, the quarterback of Charlotte. And offensively, they're hitting guys. I mean, Cutzia's making plays, and Ruffin's making plays, and Tapling's making plays. And these guys are really, really giving Charlotte headaches on both sides of the ball, offense and defense. And I don't know where Charlotte is going to find their confidence from right now, but they're definitely going to have to regroup and have some long conversations during that 13-minute halftime break.
Yeah, they handled business in San Diego 2 weeks and a day ago. So 15 days ago, got the win on the road, but now trailing here 21-0 to Chicago. And there's Chris Linty having a great day out there, perfect with his extra points. He comes from a big family of Chicago greats as well. Kickoff, Charlotte gets it into about the 25, maybe 26-yard line on the return by Devin Geis. Of course, now with 10 seconds left, you've got time for a play, maybe two, if you're Charlotte, or do we see them pull the move that we saw in game one, in which the team trailing just takes a knee and scratches it up and gets ready for the second half?
Yeah, given the way this half has gone here for Charlotte, go into the locker room and just regroup here. Have a good chat, talk some things over, and figure out how to get your offense, how to generate some offense in this second half. Because to this point, it really has not happened. And when they've gotten some positive momentum, when they've gotten some progress made, they've either had a turnover or penalty or something to happen to stub their toe.
Just 10 seconds left in the second quarter, and Mark Brown and the Charlotte offense, he'll take a knee, and that'll get us to halftime. 21-0. The enforcers of the Chicago Police Department leading the Cobras of Charlotte 21-0. Charlotte with work to do in the second half. Chicago a big lead here on the road in the first half in their first game of the 2025 National Public Safety Football League season. So we'll catch our breath, get ready for half number 2 next when we come back to East Charlotte with the second half of our final game of the day between Charlotte and Chicago right here on the NPSFL network.
New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute is a medical center for firefighters, designed by firefighters. As a leading provider of advanced medical screenings, we take pride in offering the best healthcare experience for firefighters and first responders. Since 2002, the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute has been dedicated to screening, diagnosing, and treating first responders and their families each and every day. We provide a broad range of testing and medical care, including cardiac and pulmonary testing, as well as educational seminars focused on firefighter safety throughout the USA and Canada. We are proud to have recently entered into a partnership with the Uniformed Firefighters Association to encourage all firefighters to come in and get tested. New York State awarded a grant to the UFA for testing and cancer screening, and they have partnered with the New York Firefighters Heart and Lung Institute to provide certain services at no cost to the individual. Check out fdnyheart.com or call 516-441-7614 to schedule an individual or group firehouse visit today.
If you've been injured on a job, first notify your employer, seek immediate medical attention, and then call me at 516-280-4033. We act aggressively to litigate your matters to conclusion, and we keep you fully informed throughout the litigation process. I'm here to fight for you.
For over 2 decades, Rigging NYC Contractors Inc. has been the go-to provider of rigging services in New York City. Specializing in construction and industrial rigging, as well as machinery moving, we are dedicated to delivering safe and timely solutions. Our team consists of licensed master riggers, operating engineers, teamster drivers, steam fitters, and iron workers. No matter the industrial or construction application, we have the lifting solution for you. In addition to rigging services, we offer specialized trucking services to handle equipment and materials. Our fleet of tractor trailers and experienced drivers make us the premier choice for New York trucking, including oversized freight and heavy loads. When it comes to rigging, trust the experts, the licensed master riggers at Rigging NYC Contractors. Contact us today for more information and let us make your next project a resounding success.
So this is me. I'm here sharing our story.
I am still standing because I found a reason to keep standing and walking. It starts with my 2 children, and it also continues with the legacy that Billy has now left behind.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation.
Check your box and go online. Be an organ donor.
Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
To date, in 16 months, I have spoken to over 1,500 first responders. I have spoken to the last 3 fire classes at the FDNY Academy. By the end of 2024, I'm hoping to have spoken to over 3,000 first responders. If you want to talk about hearing our story and more that we can all do together, please let me know.
And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day, and thank you again for having me.
Ground Zero is the burial place for my brother. Yet I think that not everybody can go to New York and to Ground Zero and visit the memorial there, so we felt it was vitally important once again that we carry the message that we never forget. And one way that you never forget is that if you learn what happened that day, and a lot of young kids don't even know. They hear about September 11th, a lot of them were maybe 10 years old, now they're 22 years old, a lot of them weren't even born. And I think that one of the most important things as parents, if parents are listening, and the children, is that you bring them here and you tell them the story. Tell them where you were on September 11, 2001, and what an impact it had in your life. It changed the world. That day has changed the world. It's not the same world it was on September 10, 2001, and I think that you have to tell why and what happened that day. Not just because Stephen died, because so many have died that day. And that, and so much of our military has sacrificed so much for us before that, but most certainly ever since. I think this statement really sums up our military and our great first responders. For those I love, I will sacrifice. And this is Kyle Hockenberry, and Kyle his house is under construction right now. And this program here, which is Building for America's Bravest, which is what we spend most of our energy on right now. That and our Never Forget Mobile exhibit here, is that we have to raise a lot of money because our men and women have paid a big price for protecting us here back here in the States, and so many of them coming back, triple, quadruple amputees. So many are paralyzed, and we're proud to say that we are committed to making sure that every one of them get a house. And it's been a journey the last 12 years. We've met some of the best Americans around the country. It's most certainly, once again, our men and women who serve, but besides that, just everyday Americans who have come together to help our cause, to make sure we never forget and we honor the sacrifice.
This is a very interesting piece, and to me it's the most poignant piece in the exhibit. Welded in New York for the 10th anniversary, was presented to 3 Truck. And 3 Truck their leader that day was Captain Patrick Brown, who in his 24 years of service in the FDNY had received 21 medals for heroism. They had gotten above the 40th floor at that point, he and his men, and they heard and saw what was going on, and they were describing over the radio the injuries that were coming down so that the command post and lobby be ready for it. And the very last transmission that they were able to put out was, this is 3 truck, and we're still heading up, and then the building fell on them. So that was their last transmission. That's what I love. They cut out crucifixes, one for each family, one for each member, fire department member who died that day, to give to their family members on the 10th anniversary. So each family member of a fireman from 3 truck has this piece of steel as a memento.
I think it's pretty amazing, especially for young kids that weren't there, to see the way our country was able to rally together in a situation like this. It's pretty incredible to bring it home.
It puts shivers up my back, and it's a great remembrance of what we should never let happen again to our great country.
I would encourage anybody who has an opportunity to come down and visit this. It's really something that will bring back a lot of memories if you were involved on that day. And it's good for Americans to see all the things that we've gone through, and we're still here today.
Oh, I think I would encourage people to, tour the museum. It's not a long walk through, but it brings back the memories, and it makes you feel like you're an American. And I think people should just go to reflect, and again, how lucky we are to live in this country.
Well, I think just taking 15, 20 minutes before the start of the game right here, where you got 70, 80,000 fans, means a lot. I think it puts the whole day in a proper perspective by kind of going through this first and understanding that the freedoms we have to watch football games are largely built on the shoulders of the gentlemen and soldiers that have paid the sacrifice in combat and in New York City.
At the time, he was only 2 when it happened, so he has no idea about what has happened. And it just brings a lot of memories back. That day is where you were at when it happened. This is a good thing.
I'm glad to see this exhibit. There can't be enough of this. We need to see more of it and remind people what happened and why we are a nation of free people.
We frequently either stop looking for signs of hope and praying for a swift end to our agonizing pain. As one who has walked down this road, I can honestly say that nothing I have ever done has given me more hope, more relief, or renew my courage like my relationship to ECAN, especially the reception of my new best friend, Dozer.
Tom Olkers served others.
He was an incredible husband, father, NYPD officer, and FDNY firefighter.
At age 26, Tom worked at Ground Zero in the rescue and recovery efforts following the attacks of 9/11.
Throughout his courageous battle against World Trade Center cancer, Tom deeply appreciated the care provided for him and his family, including the FDNY's Family Assistance Unit.
One of the TO Foundation's first initiatives is to purchase a family assistance van to help ease the burden for other firefighters and their families when facing an illness.
Together, we will honor Tom by helping first responders and their families in their hour of need. Please visit tofamilyfoundation.org today.
Determine if you have a valid personal injury claim. First, you need an injury. Then you have to determine if someone else was negligent. If there's a link between that negligence and your injury, you've got a strong case and you can proceed.
Koval and Associates. We fight for you.
Our mission is providing that support, advocacy, and awareness for organ donation. Be a forever hero, donate life is the message we want to get out there.
As an FDNY firefighter, he was a hero in life. As an organ donor, Billy Moon, also a hero in death.
FDNY firefighter Billy Moon's heart was successfully transplanted into 63-year-old Richard Grell last December.
And as his widow, Christina, processed her heartbreak and her grief, she fulfilled a promise that was made to her husband and donated his organs so others could live. 5 lives were saved in the process.
There are around 103,000 people waiting for a transplant across the country. One person can save 8 lives and improve up to 75 more.
back here on the NPSFL network, and our broadcast being brought to you by the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. Since 9/11, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families. At Tunnel to Towers Foundation, we're committed to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September the 11th, 2001. You can visit T2T.org for more information and to make your donation today. Hi again, everyone. Corey Hodges. That's Armand Brody. And Armand, we're into the second half of our final game of the day. It's been exciting. Thanks again to everyone who's watching, whether you're here in Charlotte, if you're in Chicago, wherever that might be. We'll tell you how you can get involved with us the rest of the way as well. But an exciting game, especially if you're a fan of the Enforcers, up 21-0 at halftime.
And Charlotte's got to find a way to slow down Brandon Ruffin. He has been superb. And really, it's been dominance from Chicago on both sides, offense and defense. Charlotte's got to start the second half off with something good here. A trick play, a quick play, pick six, fumble recovery for a touchdown. You want that spark to sort of get you back right.
Yeah.
Because they're off keel right now, they're off balance, and something like that has a way of turning the momentum and allowing you to get into the ball game. But kudos to Chicago for the plays they have made really on both sides of the ball. When they've sensed that Brown has overthrown a pass or thrown it into coverage, they've been there with their active hands. They've been there to pick off passes. They've been there to force turnovers. And offensively, they are just starting to click and starting to hum. There's a rhythm between Tapling and Ruffin right now that's happening for Chicago, and they're hoping to just ride that wave right into the rest of this game and into the second half.
Yeah, trying to keep it going, up 21-0 at halftime. If you want to get involved with us the rest of the way, we're going to be giving some shout-outs as we go. So if you're watching the broadcast and you're commenting on the live chat there, we'll give you a shout-out. Also follow along with yours truly and Armand on X the rest of the way. I'm on X at @THE_Corey, COREY, Hodges, HODGES. Give me a follow on X. I'll follow you back. Armand is there on X as well at Brody Armand. That's BROADYRARMAND. So give us a follow. We'll follow you back and support us, and we'll support you. Looking forward to this second half. Getting set to go. Chicago leading 21-0 over Charlotte, but this is a Cobras home game, so you would expect the Cobras to try to fight their way back into this one.
We'll see if Chicago can continue with the momentum that we saw from them in the first half. What is Charlotte going to do? Are we talking double teaming here? Are we talking switching up coverages and defensive schemes? Find a way to slow down Brandon Ruffin here in this second half.
Charlotte to kick it away, Vincent Mancino. This one a couple bounces and then collected by the aforementioned Brandon Ruffin. Ruffin just past the 25-yard line. He'll get some help up. That's where the return comes out for Chicago, and the Enforcers leading 21-0. Back to work here in the second half as we get close to 6 o'clock here in Charlotte on East Coast time.
Back we come to Adam Tapling. He's got to be feeling pretty good, right?
Yeah.
Something about when things are starting to click for you offensively. You start to get into a rhythm. If you're Charlotte, a 3-and-out, man, it would be so important for them right now to just sort of suffocate Chicago here to start the second half and get this ball back and try to get into an offensive rhythm.
First and 10 from the 28-yard line for Chicago. Up 3 scores, and they begin the second half. Quick hit. Again, it's Rob Kudzia, and Kudzia down inside the 40 of Charlotte. So a big play there, gets down to the 38-yard line. A 44-yard pickup that time for Kudzia, getting rolling.
A lot of emphasis in our first game on tackling well. That one missed tackle on the outside, it's a one-man route there basically. That one missed tackle allows Cudzia to get up the field and inside the 40-yard line of Charlotte.
So there's 34 yards on the pickup that time to Cudzia. Handoff now for Chicago, 12 yards to the good inside of Charlotte territory. Handing the football off to Dave Moore, who gets about a yard.
The problem for Charlotte's defense in allowing a play like that is it forces you into a situation where you've got to regroup defensively. So whatever you plan to do to start the second half to really attack the Chicago offense, when they get that one big play there to rob on the outside, now as a defense you've got to regroup all together and really reconsider your plan of attack.
Brandon Ruffin's mom chiming in on the live chat. Handoff, big one. This one to Brandon Brooks, and Brooks down to the 25-yard line. Picks up 13 for Chicago, and that's the way to get the football moving. Now you switch to the ground if you're the Enforcers.
He's got to be making Brian Finley pretty happy too. He's an old school guy. Line them up, let pads collide, let offensive line, 290, 310, 20-pound folks, let them do their jobs up front and create alleys for those backs. I love what Brian said about his team. He says, we are happy with where we have grown as a roster. That's good to see even before the first game.
Handoff now goes to Bryant Piscasio and gets down, scurries to the 20-yard line. Picks up about 7, second down.
Piscasio has good balance as a runner. He sort of leans, looking for a hole. He'll lean to run and then look for that alley, look for that lane to attack, and then that's when he'll jump it.
Yeah, Chicago head coach Brian Finley earlier in the week talking about all of his players and everyone on the team, a sworn-in police officer or a firefighter. Everybody comes in with the respect for the chain of command, a respect for their job, and as we said earlier, action-oriented guys on this team. They answer the call to service, but when things are not so heated and complex like they are today, they can chill out and have fun too. Handoff again, this time once more to Piscasio. Scurries inside the 15-yard line. It's a first down for Chicago.
Well, they can have a lot of relaxation on the ride back home if they continue like this right here, because they are really punching Charlotte in the mouth right now. We'll take another look at the run there by Piscasio.
Michaela on our live chat shouting out Martin Cosgrove, also Grace Kinney as well. Thanks to everyone joining the live chat to get involved with our broadcast today here on the NPSFL network. First and 10 from the 14 for Chicago. Faking it is Tapling. Tapling now goes near side and connects with Trent Yancey. Yancey tugged down inside the 10-yard line.
Yancey's had an active day to this point as well, and one of the things I love as the skill position players, if you're going to try and tackle me, just take another look at the play here. If you're going to try and tackle me, I want you to work for it. Right? Just sort of an arm tackle there, grab around the waist, and Yancey just sort of keeps those legs moving before that tackle is eventually made.
Another key point about this Chicago PD Enforcers team is that Chicago Fire Department used to have a team, but they had a rough go, had to fold for this season. And a lot of the veteran players from Chicago FD, their team, coming to Chicago PD, and as Finley told us, we're reaping the benefit. Handoff now, that goes nowhere. Charlotte gets pressure on Dave Moore to stop him behind the line of scrimmage. We'll set up third down coming up.
Watch Levingston Lewis here, number 77 in blue. Good luck trying to stop that. Are you kidding me? Trying to hold him down? Are you kidding me? That's the kind of guy, you get the flu when you know you've got to try and find a way to contain him.
Yeah, Levinson Lewis.
Who was that? The Cowboys, not Nate Newton. It was Larry Allen, the late, great Larry Allen.
Yeah.
They used to call it the Larry Allen flu, and every defenses knew that Larry Allen was going to be lining up across from him for the Dallas Cowboys. All of a sudden, they started catching the sniffles before the Sunday game.
Right. See someone like that coming at you can understand why. 3rd and 7 from the 12. Uh-oh, it's dropped. Tapling dropped it. He landed on it, though. It will be 4th down, but at least it's not a turnover. Is that a flag down as well, near side? I think it is.
It's got to be on Chicago. Snap was a bit high, and quarterback lost the ball. It looked like he was considering handing that thing off to Brandon Brooks. Could be a double whammy for Chicago here with the flag down as well.
Well, Jody Jaworski agreed with you on the chat, calling that's a big boy talking about talking about Lewis Levinson. Yeah, no kidding. Good at what he does.
He fills up a couple jerseys.
He does. Mecklenburg County Sheriff's Office, a proud member of Mecklenburg County Sheriff Office for Leviston Lewis.
I think the flag was against Charlotte, I believe, Corey. So,
yeah, 3rd and 2 now from the 6. Not on your 6, from the 6. Tapling drops, plenty of time. Tapling in zone, leaning ahead, scoring the touchdown. Give Tapling that much time. He's going to connect. Wade Overton out of the Beltwood Fire with the touchdown. So Overton catches it and then falls ahead for the score.
Tapling with plenty of time, and it's sort of pick your poison here. Couldn't tell at first if it was meant for Yancey or Overton, but Overton got it. Says, I'll take it. Here's a touchdown.
Then falls ahead for good measure. 27-0 Chicago. Chris Linty trying to go to 4 for 4 with extra points. Linty, no good. It's the first kind of sour part of today's game for Chicago, but it's fine. Still leading 27-0. But Chris Linty, if you do a little bit of research, you realize it takes a little bit, but then you can actually find out that Linty comes from a pretty big football family himself. In fact, even ESPN pinned a story about his family back in 2005, so that was right around the World Series season. But, you know, Michael Linty and the family, it's amazing when they almost are really called Chicago's first family of sport. Everybody born and raised on the south side of Chicago, second generation Italian-American family. Of course, you got Frank, David, Jeannie Linty, Ponsetto, even director of athletics at DePaul University is Jeannie at one time. Eugene, DePaul's head softball coach at the time, Michael. That Linty family is entrenched in Chicago.
We sort of talked about it in the first game a bit, but athletics, they run in the blood for a lot of these players.
Yeah. 27-0 game.
I don't think you can move until the ball is touched.
Those are the new kickoff rules, which this league does follow.
Yep.
We were told earlier in the week that this league follows these new kickoff rules, which I assume were the official NFL kickoff rules of no one able to move until that ball reaches, whether it hits inside the end zone for a touchback or actually lands in the landing zone. So it's brought out to the 40-yard line on that movement. Yeah. It's funny from the truck down there. Exactly. Where's Tim at? He can be our Dean Blandino. Where are you? Where are you, Dean? Ball at the 40-yard line here for Charlotte. 8:50 to go in this third quarter. Chicago pitching a shutout. How about the White Sox to get a opening day win over the Angels? But pitching a shutout here, the other one of those many teams from Chicago. That one's jumbled on the touch pass, but luckily able to roll that up and keep possession of it was Ridnour. Could have been disaster for the Cobras. It'll be a loss, but at least Ridnour didn't lose the football.
I'll tell you, it's not raining literally outside, but it's raining metaphorically here for Charlotte. It's just one thing after another. Another look at this one here. And you would think, I mean, it's one of the most routine things that can happen in a football game. Even if it's a little push pass or... See, the referee was just clarifying that it was an incomplete pass. But yeah, I mean, it seems so simple until it isn't.
This is tough now. Another difficult start to the second half. Charlotte went through these same struggles in the second half against San Diego when they got the ball first on the West Coast over 2 weeks ago and then fumbled it. Yeah, good point as well that we just got. That's right. For those that weren't able to join us earlier for Roanoke and Tri-Cities and Tri-States rather, this is a big officials group, over 100 plus officials. They rotate in every 10 minutes. A group comes in for 10 minutes, they're rotated out. It's officials from all types of different football conferences. And so that's something else too to keep in mind for those that are joining us here into the second half for this Charlotte and Chicago matchup. I know we hadn't mentioned that, so appreciate the reminder. Move it back from 7:50 to 8:06, just adjusting the game clock here in the third quarter. Second and 10 for the Cobras from the 40. One thing that's good for Charlotte is the fact that they did get Marquise Turner back. He wasn't able to play in the San Diego game. That one incomplete. As Brown looks towards Kevin Alford. Third down.
Brown trying to lead Alford there, middle of the field, to make a diving catch. And really fortunate that one was not intercepted. I tell you, the middle of the field, Chicago has really shut it down. The middle of the field has been a true danger zone all game long for Charlotte in this game.
Yes, Chicago defensively with Aaron Chappell, the defensive coordinator, been in that role since even Finley got on this team for Chicago. 4-2-5, got that roll-up tight nickel for Chicago, but Chappell and Finley work well together. Deep on the far side, that's incomplete as Brown laid it out. And it'll be fourth down and Charlotte will punt.
The last thing Charlotte needed there was that.
Yeah.
Come in and out they go.
It's just not there so far for the Cobras here at their place, and 1-0 on the season. Forrester's getting set to get the football back. Crystal Henderson on the jack. Go Chicago. Christian Chris. Let's go Charlotte. Let's go number 16 for Charlotte. That's Jonathan McClure. Stephanie Harris. Keeping an eye on Trent Yancey. Chicago will get the football back. Might have a player down for the moment here for Charlotte. Might be an extended break. Check on Charlotte's number 23. Yeah, he's still down and might need some extra support here from the Charlotte sideline, so looks like we'll pause this for an injury with 7:44 to go in the third. Chicago up 27-0. Now for Chicago as well, talking about the team and everything, and if you want to know more about Brian Finley, got an interesting story. He coached his son's team, Armand, for 9 years. You and I spoke to him on Zoom earlier this week, and his son was playing football. And, of course, then COVID happened, so even Finley kind of joked with us and said he felt like he was getting fatter, sitting around, and needed to do something, needed to get up and going. I can empathize. And he said, look, COVID happened. He was in a place where he was bored, kind of missed being part of a team. So he found the coach's number, at that time coach of Chicago, found his number on Facebook, and the rest is history, as they say.
I just love some of the things that Finley told us. He said, I asked him about a slogan. Do you have something? Do you have a mantra, something that you say? He says, no, I don't really have anything. All I want my players to know is it is important that you understand who you are. There's a lot of nuggets about this team and about life from him. He also said, look, this team is not about me.
Yeah.
It's about everybody on the field. And as you talked about earlier, he was really serious about making sure his players understood that it is important that you're able to look to the left, look to the right, and care about the guy right next to you. And whatever you do, make sure you do it for them.
Yeah, it's the old foxhole analogy in the military. You know, if you've got who's the guy next to you in the foxhole, can you rely upon him? And certainly same way in the trenches in football. So after the injury pause, Chicago back to work. 1st and 10 from the 21. Handoff goes to Dave Moore. Moore just past the 20, maybe back to the line of scrimmage, maybe a yard gain. Looks like they'll give a yard to Moore. 2nd and 9. We up for Chicago, under 7.5 to go in the third quarter. Seeing Charlotte's number 23 working his way back here on the near side, getting some mustard, trying to help him out. A little cramping going on there. The typical quick squirt or two of mustard to get you going. Tappling, high snap, Tappling jumps with it, hands it off, tackled in the backfield is Ryan Robinson, and Donovan Hayes, the one to stop him.
That's a really good stop there by Donovan Hayes. He's got to wrap him up around the legs. Always key in making good tackles, being able to wrap up around the lower legs to cut off the movement.
Today's broadcast being brought to you by Fund the First. FundTheFirst.com is the #1 trusted and free fundraising platform for those who serve their families, their friends as well. Fund the First, the first in the business of supporting first responders, military, and medical professionals as well. You can visit FundTheFirst.com today to launch your fundraiser. 3rd and 10.
Bring a blitz here, right, if you're Charlotte?
Yeah. Trying to get some pressure here on Tappling. Tappling handles the snap again. It's coming right at him. Tappling now rolls and fires far side. Picking it up is Brandon Brooks. But with Chicago needing 10 yards, Brooks gets about half of that back. 4th down.
Charlotte really didn't do much in the way of bringing pressure that time. They sort of lay back and more or less play coverage. And even though Chicago does not pick up the first down, they're close enough to where they feel pretty confident about going for this on 4th down.
Fourth and 4 coming up. We've got the text on the chat from Tar Baby checking in, talking about how we're going to have the fire department application right now. Charlotte might have a new quarterback next year. I know Mark Brown might have something to say about that. Tar Baby checking in. Poor Tar Heels. A lane violation?
You know
Come
I'm
on.
a Tar Heels fan. Come on.
I know. So is my dad. #1 in the world. He hated it.
Come on, Corey.
I was watching it that night, too. That was brutal. It was right here. It was right here in Charlotte.
Yeah.
Too close
to
home.
We get in the tournament and do what we've been doing all year.
That's right.
Get behind big early, come back,
Yep.
Lose close late. Just rinse and repeat, man.
It's a basketball state, AB, which means some really good years and some really not so good years. If you care that much, it's going to come out one way or the other. 4th and 4 for Chicago. Trying to hoop here and pick up a first down. Tapling directs over Pascasio. Now the punt. Chicago will punt it. And it bounces to the 41-yard line and then covered back there by the hands team, kind of driving it back to behind the 40. Covered by Wade Overton. So you get the stop, and when you're trailing 27-0, you've got 20 minutes left in this game, trailing by 27 points, and the Cobras, you have to do something this drive. It's imperative.
And the question is, what has Chicago not seen?
Yeah.
And Brian Finley even talked about this. He said, we expect Charlotte to have something up their sleeves. But whatever they've got, pull that sucker out right now and see what happens, because you need something to go your way on the offensive side. You need something to go your way, and you need it right now.
Time to go. 1st and 10 from the 42 for the Cobras. With it back, Mark Brown in the middle, connects with Devin Geis, and Geis is going to go all the way, a 58-yard touchdown strike. Brown to Geis, the former Auburn Tiger, and Geis gets Charlotte's first 6 points of the day.
Well, you know what they say, Geis is nice. The middle of the field's been a problem for Brown for so much of this game, but this time he finds Geis who pulls it in and then forces that one missed tackle and has enough speed to race into the end zone for a desperately needed Charlotte touchdown.
Yeah, that was, you had to have it that time. And Brown with that great arm, all that experience, got it. Extra point time now. Kyshawn Merchant adds the extra point, 27-7. Charlotte working their way back into this game at their home place.
That's one way to do it.
I know.
One play?
One play. I mean, you've already got, the Panthers look out here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if you just kind of squinted, you would think, this is practice in Spartanburg.
They have been trying to get to Geis. We even talked about it at halftime, that they've been trying to find ways to get Geis involved. And Brown takes another chance, throwing it over the middle of the field, which has been a problem for a lot of the day based on Chicago's coverage. And that time, Geis finds the other end of it and is able to break that one tackle and get into the end zone.
That was big. Now, today's broadcast here on the NPSFL network being brought to you by ECAD. That's the Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. Our mission at ECAD is to enable people with disabilities to gain greater independence and mobility through the use of specially educated dogs. You can visit ecad1.org to learn more about our Service Dogs program. And Nicole Ray getting in on our chat. Let's go CPD number 1. That's Ridnour. Campbell University, some college experience. Got some Charlotte fans making some noise now with the Cobras scoring their first touchdown of the day. Ruffin out on the return for Chicago.
Here's the deal for Chicago, though. Just like Geis can make a quick, big play, Ruffin can too.
Yeah, that's the answer right there. That was a quick strike, only took 20 seconds to do all of that, but Charlotte needed to score quick in that case.
Now they need a 3 and out.
That's exactly what they need. Tough to get with the way these teams go. I know last time Chicago punted on 4th down, but you give them anything that's 4th and, well, I would say 4th and Dan Campbell, if you will. 4th and 5 or less, they're probably going to go for it.
Chicago does not want to hear about Dan Campbell. Come on, Corey, you know better than that.
No, they don't. But then again, my fandom comes in as a Lions fan, so I got to give it back. Here's the handoff, taking a big hit at the end. play with Piscasio. We've seen a number of big hits in this game. Second down, we've got a player down here for Charlotte. Back up quick, though. That's good to see. He got some help from his teammates and kind of jumped up as they brought him up. That's Amaziah Cohen-Mims at a Piedmont EMS.
There's a big hit on that tackle there, too. You do feel like, though, when you get a score like that, it does add another layer of energy. It just gives you something good. It gives you something to hope for.
Yeah.
Let's see if Charlotte can keep that moving, or if Chicago can just keep humming along and doing what they've been doing all game long.
It was a gain of 6. 2nd and 4 from the 34 for Chicago. Handoff back to Piscasio. Scuttles ahead, picks up a first down. Pretty simple on that play. Tapling, just turn around, give it to your running back. Pick up a fresh set.
I like his vision.
Yeah.
It doesn't always have to be hard, you know?
Right.
The play is designed to go that way, it looked like, and Piscasio's just able to find that space off on the outside to set up a 3rd and short. These are always the kind of situations you want to find yourself in as an offense. You can sneak it, you can power it. That's what they've got going on here.
3rd and 1. They did not pick up the first down. They came within a yard of picking it up. Chicago trying to pick up the first down on 3rd and short. Yeah, they got it, and they go right back, this time to Dave Moore. A player down again for Charlotte. Cobras are taking the worst of it right now in the 3rd with injuries, and this Cobra still down. All right, we're coming back after this on the NPSFL network.
So how many saw Forrest Gump? Well, I'm Gary Sinise. I play Lieutenant Dan.
Hello, I'm Gary Sinise, and while you may recognize me from movies or television, my life's mission has been to honor and support our nation's veterans, servicemen and women, first responders, our most severely wounded heroes, the families of our fallen, and those suffering from the invisible wounds of war.
I appreciate everything that you do for our troops.
Thank you for what you do for these veterans.
What you do for the soldiers, God bless you.
I lost my dad.
I know, and we want to show you that we don't forget your dad.
It's meaningful.
Yeah.
Because I didn't expect any of this, you know, I was just happy to be alive. So when everyone showed their love and support, it's overwhelming.
Please join me to help us help our defenders who keep us safe and our communities strong. Donate today at GarySiniseFoundation.org.
We're back here on the NPSFL network on a Saturday in Charlotte. Welcome back. The Tunnel to Towers Foundation since 9/11. Tunnel to Towers Foundation has been helping America's heroes by providing mortgage-free homes to Gold Star and fallen first responder families. They're also committed to eradicating veteran homelessness and helping America to never forget September the 11th, 2001. You can visit t2t.org for more information or to make your donation today. Under 3 to go in the 3rd quarter. Fresh set of downs for Chicago. Rolling is Tapling and then connects with Trent Yancey. Yancey gets this close to midfield, picks up 9 of it. It'll be 2nd and 1 from their 48 for Chicago.
You know, there are a lot of great boxers who've come out of Chicago, I'm sure, and I'm looking and thinking about what Chicago's been doing today. Just a lot of body blows, just constant, non-stop blows to the body of Charlotte. They've delivered some big uppercuts, some of those big punches, but it's been a game where they have just delivered blow after blow after blow to Charlotte, and they've really been wearing them down all game long.
2nd and 1 for the Enforcers. 2 minutes to go in the 3rd. Only needing a yard, Brandon Brooks. Scurries to his right. No gain, in fact, a loss of 1. 3rd down coming. Thanks to everyone who's watching CW9904, cheering on the Cobras. Angelica Rivera talking about that nice touchdown with Geis. Also Jody Jaworski, Crystal Henderson still involved on the NPSFL network chat. About 200 tuning in right now. Of course, it's available on demand for replays and whatever you like on the YouTube channel for the NPSFL. Minute 10 to go in the third. 3rd and 2 for Chicago from their 47. Tapling turns around, hands it off, looking for room, trying to get it on the outside. Got the first down. Now into Charlotte territory on the run by Dave Moore, his best run of the day, and a first down for the Enforcers.
I just love the way he runs. I mean, it's so authoritative, such a thunderous runner. Look at him here, sort of bounce to the outside, light on his feet, but heavy on the ground, and running with a great deal of force and power to get to the outside and pick up that first down.
First and 10 now from Charlotte's 48-yard line, under a half minute to go in the third. Tapling, high snap, and in the backfield, that play got blown up. Ryan Robinson tackled there. Charlotte bringing pressure. John Tavis King up there to get Robinson for a loss. That brings us to the end of the third quarter. 27-7, Chicago leading Charlotte. We'll have a second and long coming up when we come back. Fourth quarter next here in Charlotte on a Saturday on the NPSFL network. Final 15 minutes of the day here in Charlotte. Big win earlier today by Tri-State and the Shields over the Rampage of Roanoke. For those that joined us then, for those that are joining us now, 27-7, Chicago leading Charlotte, looking to get their first win of the season, trying to drop Charlotte to 1-1. Cobras trying to come back in this game and move to 2-0. Corey Hodges, Armand Brody, and the team back here with you on the NPSFL network. I want to thank everyone joining along today on our live chat. We'll continue to do this until the end. Mojo7205 cheering on the Enforcers. Tasharia Prince cheering on one of her players as well, talking about Brooks Brandon, cheering on Brooks. Tracy Edwards shouting out Chicago and CPD. Nice to see everyone in our chat still supporting the broadcast, tuning in and letting their voices and support be heard. Another look at the chat. I see it now. Yeah, CW9904 cheering on the Cobras, and shouting out the social media content creator, no doubt Andy a part of that, watching from over 9,000 miles away on vacation in the Maldives. Currently 3 a.m. in the Maldives, and they want to win as their birthday present. So how about that? Castaway, but in their own way, not by accident, by choice in the Maldives. Must be nice.
By the way, it was Dead Man Redemption? You brought that up earlier.
Yeah, Red Dead Redemption.
Red Dead. What is it? Okay, never mind.
Yeah. Today's broadcast being brought to you by On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey, inspired by everyday heroes like nurses, police officers, teachers, firefighters as well. They make the country so loved and respected, and they also keep up that military tradition of grabbing a drink to celebrate someone who's got your six. Visit onyoursix.com today to purchase your first bottle. Yeah, they made RDR1, and then they did Red Dead Redemption 2, the sequel. And the sequel just captured the world by storm. Arthur and his horse. Here's Tapling, quick hitter. Got blockers too for Cudzia. And he glides ahead to the 45 of Charlotte.
I love the way Chicago throughout this game I love the way they have gotten Rob Cudzia the football. And I tell you what, that play could have been so much more dangerous for Chicago because they got some good blocking there on those Charlotte defenders. And the Cobras are lucky that that one was not broken loose for another touchdown for Chicago.
One more might be the one to pretty much seal it today with the way Chicago's played. 20 new players for the Chicago team coming into the season. 3rd and 8. 46 of Charlotte. About a minute into the 4th. Team that wants to spread it out anyway. Likes to utilize those receivers. Pressure in the backfield on Tapling. Tapling fumbled it, lost it. It looks like Charlotte might have recovered it. We'll wait for the signal. Neozir Grimes in there. Part of the North Carolina State Highway Patrol, and Grimes trying to get in and jar the football free. This would be a huge takeaway if Charlotte gets it.
Corey, I think somehow Chicago got that ball back.
Wow.
It looked like Grimes had it, and I think the quarterback, Tapling, tore that ball back away from Grimes to keep it with Chicago. I don't know how he did it, but he did.
Wow. That would have been the big play, because then Charlotte would have been set up in great position into Chicago territory, but instead the enforcers keep possession of the football. It is 4th and 8. Tapling, snap is high again, punts it away, no problem. This will land at the 12-yard line, picked up on the return, trying to tiptoe, trying to keep the feet in bounds. Nice job to do the little Baryshnikov there for Devin Easter. Well, Charlotte gets the football back. They're not as deep in as they would have been if they had recovered that fumble, but they do get the football back, and they're trailing by 20.
I still want to know, how in the world?
I don't know.
How did Tapling get that ball back?
I thought that was the turnover that would have maybe changed this 4th quarter, but impressive for Tapling too. But again, someone else who's got plenty of experience. You kind of wonder why, back to Masonette in the first game, why was he so good? Well, he's got so much experience. We mentioned Tapling being that Chicago Catholic League Player of the Year. And even head coach Finley talked about how he has eyes in the back of his head. He kind of needed them that time to figure out where the rock was.
Yeah, Finley said simply, Adam is my guy.
Yeah.
With plays like that, it's no wonder.
Yeah, you can understand why they ride with Tapling out of the Chicago Fire Department. 1st and 10 from the 30 for Charlotte. Brown drops. Brown pressured, and there's that Chicago defense to sack him. Brown escorted down by John Simmons out of the Cook County Forest Preserve. And in the trees, he gets in there and gets Brown.
You know, it's really been a case of same song, different lyrics for Charlotte in this game. Pocket breaks down, and Brown just thinking he has time. Chicago's able to fight a block. come off a block, and Brown, thinking he has time, ends up with happy feet. And quite a few times today he's had to deal with some pressure right in his face, ending up in him being taken down.
Loss of 7, 2nd and 17. In traffic, pulled in. Big catch for Devin Geis. That's what playing at Auburn will grant you. A lot of experience too, especially catching contested footballs. Geis gets it close to midfield, picks up a first down for Charlotte.
This is why you want this guy to touch the football. Electric after the catch. Hook up with him over the middle. He had to really sky to bring that one in. And then he breaks that arm tackle by Craig Maddock and breaks through to pick up that first down close to midfield.
Geis with a gain of 25. 1st and 10. Their 48. Inching closer to midfield with just over 11 and a half minutes left. 27-7. Chicago leading Charlotte. Brown drops. Brown hustles near side, throws it away, incomplete. He had Jake Mitchell leaping, but couldn't pull it in inbounds.
He kind of threw it away.
Kind of.
Yeah. It was zone coverage across the middle. There was nothing really open. Chicago had good coverage there across the board. Throw that thing firmly away. Let there be no doubt of the incompletion. Get that one out of there and move on to 2nd down.
Because there was that leap there from Jake Mitchell. Mitchell was the one we just mentioned who was trying to stay in bounds. He caught it right in front of the Charlotte sideline. Now he couldn't stay in, but he got his hands on that football. Now, Mark Brown played for the Pacers of USC-Aiken 2008, 2009, his last season. Attended Hickory Grove Christian High School. The best schools here in this city of Charlotte. Now 37 years old. 2nd and 10 from the 48. Brown, incomplete. Brown had to watch it that time, looking for Kevin Alford. 3rd down.
Where does Brown go now? What kind of coverage do we see from Chicago? Question now is, do they bring pressure? Do they lay back and play coverage here and try to give Brown something mysterious to look at? That'll be the question here, because as we've seen throughout this game, Chicago at times has been able to get to Brown a bit in coverage and make things a little bit more difficult for him down the field.
They're 48, 3rd and 10. Mark Brown, 2 drops, now spins it and hooks up with Ridnour for the first down, close to the 30.
A great little corner route that time. I love how Ridnour runs that route. That pass is on the money, over the shoulder there, along the boundary. Only Ridnour could make that play. This pass is just placed so well by the quarterback, and Ridnour is right there to bring that one in. That's a perfect play call against that coverage of Chicago.
Pick up a 15. The 37 now of Chicago, and this is Ridnour, who had 3 touchdowns last time out for Charlotte when they played San Diego, so don't forget about him. Jabri Ridnour, Charlotte Mecklenburg Police Department. 10.5 to go in this game. 1st and 10 from the 37 for the Cobras, who need another touchdown and a 2-point conversion too. Mark Brown shuffling. Brown steps up. We can see the wheels of Brown, and now the slide, utilizing the baseball background, slides close to the 30-yard line.
Ridnour was wide open down the near sideline. But with the way Chicago was bringing the heat there was no way Brown was going to have a chance to see him down the field. Oh, the coulda, shoulda, wouldas for Charlotte so far in this game. You have to give so much credit to Chicago for all of that.
3-yard pickup for the quarterback, Brown. Second and 6, 34 of Chicago, 9.5 to go. Brown zips it over the middle and completes it to Kevin Alford, who will have it inside the 15-yard line. Exactly what the Cobras needed. They're getting right now.
They did, and we've talked about the middle of the field all game long. That time, I tell you, timing is everything. Quarterback got that one just past number 59, Scott Robinson of Chicago, for that first down.
Yeah, Coach Charlie Davis said they would swing it around. Gets us to the 13-yard line. Brown rolls far side, hooks up with Alford, and Alford tackled almost immediately there. Coverage by Chicago. Right after Alford caught it with Pat Egan down there, part of the Chicago PD.
Time caught here by Chicago, I think. Yep.
Stedman Graham kind of limping off a bit. We'll come back after this on the NPSFL Network.
If you've been injured on the job, first notify your employer, seek immediate medical attention, and then call me at 516-280-4033. We act aggressively to litigate your matters to conclusion, and we keep you fully informed throughout the litigation process. I'm here to fight for you.
We frequently either stop looking for signs of hope, praying for a swift end to our agonizing pain. As one who has walked down this road, I can honestly say that nothing I've ever done has given me more hope, more relief, or renew my courage like my relationship to ECAN, especially the reception of my new best friend, Doja.
Welcome back. 8:39 to go in this ball game in regulation time. Charlotte driving 2nd and 5 from the 9-yard line, trailing by 20 points. Corey Hodges, Armand Brody, and the team here with you, taking you the rest of the way. Thanks to our sponsors, all of our fans as well. We'll tell you more about that in a second. First, the snap on 2nd and 5 from the 9-yard line. Mark Brown. Brown rolls, flips, end zone, intercepted. Chicago with the pick. And that is exactly what Charlotte did not need. Interception for Chicago. They take it away from Brown.
The question now is, was he in the end zone the entire time, or did he come out?
Yeah.
You see the interception right there. He started really outside at about the 1-yard line. A great play. Pass was underthrown. Interception is made, and they're actually marking the ball at the 5-yard line, so should have just stayed in the end zone there. The thing is, if he caught it from outside the end zone, then he would have had to run the ball out. But initially, I thought he was in the end zone when he made the interception.
Mark it now at the 6, so even though Chicago comes up with the interception, they're backed up here, and Charlotte can still try to pounce on them. Be careful if you're tackling, leading by 20.
Had him in the neutral zone there, could have just snapped that one, would have been a penalty.
Tappling, when you're backed up this far, just hand the football off. Keep hold of it. Bryant Scasio.
Got about 5 yards too, didn't he?
Yeah, not a bad run when you're backed up that way. Got it out to the 11-yard line, so.
You've really got one main objective now. We talked about those body blows earlier.
Yeah.
Your one main objective now here is to really run clock. That first down is key if you can get it for Chicago. That first down is key to allowing you to just continue to burn time off the clock here.
Ray Medina checking in. Jody Jaworski's been with us from the beginning. Zipporah Hightower also supporting Chicago on our live chat. Thanks to everyone who's made this Saturday possible. Our sponsors as well. From the First Billy Moon Foundation, ECAD, On Your Six Bourbon Whiskey, and Tunnel to Towers Foundation. This big Saturday jamboree. Tapling keeps it. Tapling spins. That spin, though, might have cost him the football. Charlotte out with it. Cobras recover it. And right where he needed to be, Kyshawn Merchant up with the loose football, and the Cobras get that much-needed turnover.
Another look here, and Tapling, he's had such a strong game, making things happen, at least trying to with his legs here. After that spin move, that ball ends up sort of hanging out from his left arm, and that's what allowed the Charlotte defense to pop that ball free. And now the window is open here. Charlotte does not have much time left. They've got to score in a hurry here if they have any chance of really coming back into this game. They only have 7 minutes and change left.
And now you need to try to do what you could not do last time, get down here and score. Chicago calls a timeout with 7:18 to go.
Chicago's got one left.
Try to get their defense back where it needs to be here to prevent Charlotte from getting points off of this turnover.
One timeout for Chicago, 2 timeouts for Charlotte now. Even when Charlotte's had some of the breaks provided them by a big play they've made or something that they've gotten from Chicago, they haven't really been able to capitalize really all game long, Corey.
No. And even with the trailing by 20 right now, it's been a great week for Charlotte. Of course, love playing at home, chance to be in front of their home fans for the first time this season. It's been a great effort as well, worthy of a shout out too, shouting out our fans and the sponsors. How about shout out head coach Charlie Davis for the Charlotte Cobras, and he really tried to help out with minimizing everything, making sure everyone had coolers and tents, and being a warmer than usual day for this time of the year to help out not just his team, but also Chicago and also the Tri-States and Roanoke too. 1st and 10 from the 20. Mark Brown. End zone. Look at the adjustment to catch it and get in for 6 points. Called his name a lot. Stedman Graham comes through when Charlotte needed it the most. 13 points now on the board for Charlotte. They are trying to work their way back. Graham, a busy customer.
Corey, you know, you said it during the play. This is such a great adjustment here by Graham. Watch him here. Turn. Look that ball into his hands as he's backpedaling. Folks, that is not an easy play to make, but Stedman Graham, who's been a consistent target all game long for Charlotte, makes that play, and now there's still a bit of a heartbeat for the Cobras.
Again, we bring it up with Graham. He was really a defensive player at Emory and Henry, showing off his offensive skills in the NPSFL. That extra point, though, is blocked. So Chicago can at least take solace in that. Kyshawn Merchant, his extra point try blocked. So it'll stay 27-13. It's a 14-point game.
Another look at the touchdown here. Just want to have to see that adjustment again. Oh, man, that's so sweet. The defender is right there. The coverage came from Jake Mitchell, number 5 of Chicago. But the adjustment there by Graham is everything on that play. He's able to come back for that ball, look it into his chest, and pick up that touchdown for the Charlotte Cobras.
Shout out to the offensive line, too, of Charlotte. Jason Butler, right tackle. Patrick Hewlett, call him the Bulldog, the firefighter. Ray, the center. Mike Putnam, the left guard. A lot of big guys up there and giving enough time for Brown to fire that to Graham to give the Cobras that much-needed TD.
I'll tell you what, we're coming down towards the end here, and I don't know how many more opportunities we'll have. But, man, this has been a pretty cool day.
Yeah.
First responders playing football. We use the word in sports, you know, hero, and sometimes we overdo it, quite frankly. But this has truly been a day to watch heroes in action playing the sport they love. It's been pretty cool.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Crystal Henderson shouting us out in the trees, that little slide in there from earlier, saying that we're pretty funny. Thank you, Crystal. We appreciate that. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll be here. We'll be here all week. Henny Youngman. Yeah.
Let's take my wife guy, isn't it? Take my wife, please. Isn't that right?
Henny Youngman.
You would know that, wouldn't you?
Borscht Belt. Great. Henny Youngman. I'm the Irish Henny Youngman. Don't look at me. Or Sinatra said, I'm the Italian Henny Youngman.
You know some of the most random stuff.
I feel like it especially comes in handy when Chicago is playing in this game. I could have gone crazy with Blues Brothers. I didn't even do a Blues Brothers. I haven't done any of that.
No, you didn't.
So, it's...
I don't know if that was an onside kick or just sort of a different sort of squib type kick there, but at any rate, Chicago falls on it. It just gives them good field position again.
Yeah, now they blocked the extra point, so instead of being a 14-point game, it's well, that's what it is, 14 points. It would have been less than that, obviously, with that extra point. Would have made it an under 2-score game, so that's what was critical there. So big for Chicago to block that.
Real quick, I'm not going to see you again before the Final Four. Who wins it all? In your mind? Who you got?
If Cooper Flagg stays healthy. Trust me, nobody here wants to.
Say that. You say that in the face of a Tar Heel fan.
That's what
Come
I'm saying.
on, man.
I can't say it around a lot of people in the family.
A producer who's got all kinds of ties to Raleigh and NC State. Oh, man, just put it right in the chest.
I know. Well, you saw what happened when he wasn't able to play. And the Tar Heels almost got it done.
We still lost.
It's still lost, yeah. With that play that'll haunt people around here for another couple months. Handoff goes to Dave Moore. Keep it on the ground here for Chicago, up by 14, 7 minutes to go. All right, Charlotte's going to call the timeout. We'll stay here. Well, this is week 3, and of course, week 4 coming up on April the 12th, and that's going to be a 3-game week, all on the 12th of April, NYCD at Chicago. So the police enforcers will be playing the boldest of NYCD, and then San Diego Armand at San Bernardino, enforcers and the Spartans, and then the Orange County Lawmen at the Centurions of LAPD. That's not George C. Scott's new Centurions. Those are the LAPD Centurions. It's a great movie, by the way.
And the next game for Charlotte, they've already played one, as we mentioned. The next game for Charlotte is, I think, in May. I don't think they play again until May.
Yeah.
So they try to balance the schedule out.
Right.
Yep. So that, of course, nobody plays back-to-back weeks.
2nd and 10 from the 47. Tapling hands it off to Pescasio, who is still going. Little jersey pull, he's still up. Pescasio down near the 20. Big gain that time for him. Got about 33 yards out of it. A play Chicago, they didn't have to have a big chunk play. They just wanted to keep running plays, but Pescasio is a tough customer to bring down.
Yes, he is, and I tell you what, once you get these guys out past the first level of the defense, these guys start getting in space and they start wiggling and making all kinds of moves and making defenders miss. And you're talking about some of the toughest guys around that you're going to find, so they're not going down on that first hit. And it's been that kind of a day really across the board for Chicago here.
.6:10 to go. Lights are on here at Rocky River High School in East Charlotte. Approaching the end of our doubleheader Saturday of football here. Busy day it's been with Charlotte and Chicago closing it down. Tapling hands off to Brandon Brooks. Brooks ahead for a couple, 2nd down.
And if Chicago could spend the final 5.5 minutes of this game just handing the ball off, doesn't bother them now one bit. I don't think Brian Fennelly would be the least bit annoyed by that. Especially when you get a big play like that from, I mean, unexpected, I guess, in some ways, big play by Pescasio.
Yeah. You know, Fennelly knew that Charlotte would kind of bring their best game here today, and like you said, Armand, they've got some things up their sleeve, but even he said, line up, play, we'll see what happens, and it's been a Good Saturday here for Chicago, leading by 14 with exactly 5 minutes to go. 2nd and 8 from the 18 of Charlotte here for the Enforcers. Give goes right back to Brooks, who is stood up at the 15-yard line. Defensively jumping in for Charlotte was Donovan Hayes. 3rd down.
Charlotte has that one timeout left. They're trying to hold on to it. This is a big 3rd down because I tell you, if Chicago gets another score here, you're certainly starting to feel as if this game is as close to over as a game can possibly be. So you at least want to give yourself one more chance here. Maybe you're able to get the ball back if you can get a stop if you're Charlotte with around 3 or so minutes left.
3rd and 5 from the 15 for Chicago. Looking for one more 1st down pickup, maybe even more than that, to try to officially seal this game. Tapling gives to Dave Moore. Moore needing 5 yards for the 1st down pickup, and he got those 5 yards, and a fresh set of downs now for Chicago.
Just marching off that left side, and the offensive line just clears the way. Moore did not have to do a whole lot of work there. Didn't really have to cut. Just march straight through the lane created by this offensive line.
The 1st and goal for the Enforcers, 3:25 and ticking. Chicago can use some of the clock here, run it down as much as they can before they snap it. Moore's the running back behind Tapling. Tapling watching the clock, hands off to Moore, bounces his way through inside the 5-yard line. 2nd and goal.
And the clock continues to run, and I tell you, with the way Moore's running and the way this offensive line is blocking, if you're Chicago, you start to feel like it's only a matter of time before we can put that final necessary score on the board to wrap things up here.
And this would be the one with 14-point lead in hand. You add one more here and you can pretty much lock up start to the season with a win, starting 2025 1-0. Now this will go down to that 2-minute timeout. Chicago letting it run. Can they get it all the way down to the 2-minute timeout? Just keeping an eye on it. Yeah. That'll snap it just before. Handoff here to Moore. Trying to sneak his way through on 2nd and goal. Now the 2-minute timeout with 3rd and goal coming up on the other side of it. All right, we're back after this for the finish next on the NPSFL network.
We frequently either stop looking for signs of hope and praying for a swift end to our agonizing pain. As one who has walked down this road, I can honestly say that nothing I have ever done has given me more hope, more relief, or renew my courage like my relationship to ECAN, especially the reception of my new best friend, Dozer.
ECAD is the Educated Canines Assisting with Disabilities. Our mission at the ECAD is to enable people with disabilities to gain greater independence and mobility through the use of specially educated dogs. You can visit ecad1.org to learn more about our Service Dogs program. Minute 57 to go, 3rd and goal for Chicago, leading 27-13. They've moved down the field and looking now to close it out, trying to get their win to start 2025 at 1-0.
And would be pretty impressive too, considering, I mean, coming down here, starting the year off this way after Charlotte had already had their victory over San Diego, start the season for them. Chicago team looking pretty good.
Little pitch, now looking to cut back. bouncing just short of the end zone with Pascasio, so he got it on the pitch and almost got in. 4th and goal.
The Charlotte call for time here. Yep, final timeout there from Charlotte.
That was the last one left for the Cobras. 98 seconds to go. So for Chicago, looking good now, and we had the big kickoff party. We mentioned that, and they'll look to start their season the same way Charlotte did, AB, with a perfect 1-0 start. Charlotte will fall to a win and a loss, and so we've gotten through a couple weeks of the 2025 season, and we know some of the players for Chicago now, wants to watch the rest of the way, and certainly we know with Charlotte, Mark Brown just needs to get a little bit more from that wide receiver core, and this Charlotte team could really be in business. But it was nice to see the crowd today come out and support the Cobras as well here at Rocky River.
Yeah, and really for Chicago, haven't had to have a lot from Brandon Ruffin here in the second half, the way he was electrifying this game back from the first half.
Yeah, I tell you, there's actually something there. We almost have a third analyst today. It was, Jody Jaworski was kind of looking. She might have seen something with Ruffin maybe hurting his wrist earlier on a blocking play as Chicago looks to add one more touchdown, and they do. Touchdown, John Simons gets it through, and Chicago scores 33-13. So Simmons gets it through for 6 points. Here it is again.
Here it is indeed. They fake the inside give, and oh man, you can just walk into the end zone at that point. You needed less than a yard, and it's been that kind of day for Chicago.
Yeah, again, we want to make sure to shout out Chicago, everybody there with supporting today and watching from the Windy City. I know we had that kind of watch party going on earlier as well at Canerco's place there. Everybody joining in and streaming the game to a big audience, so we appreciate that, the support, watching Chicago all the way here in Charlotte today. So appreciate everyone who's joined along. We've averaged about 200 plus throughout this afternoon, and even more certainly to follow on demand. So again, we want to thank everyone for that. Extra point. This one good. 34-13. Extra point put through by Chris Linty, so he's 4 for 5 today. Yeah, Linty, it's an impressive story. We talked about earlier, that great family he has in the Chicago area. It's no surprise to see him playing football. His whole family has played football, almost kind of called the first sports family of Chicago. So nice to see Linty being productive today, and he's a proud member of the Chicago Police Department.
And I'm sure his family's pretty proud of him as well.
Yeah.
And the athletics is in your blood like that, you almost feel like you're a little envious.
Yeah.
It shouldn't come that easy to some folks.
It's just,
some families are just like that. Some families, everybody can sing.
Yep.
You have other families, everybody plays an instrument.
Right.
You have a family where it seems like everybody plays some sort of a sport. It's not fair, Corey.
You can't get away from it. Here comes the return now from Stedman Graham, who's had a nice game, and Graham trying to finish it with some flair. Graham past midfield, trying to cut back. Graham spinning, trying to stay in bounds, gets it inside the 35 of Chicago. Big play to give the fans here something late to cheer about. We do have a couple players kind of tied up on the back part of that play. Flag down 2. Could this be another big return taken away by the guy?
Well, there was some talking and some John after the fact, thinking maybe that's what the flag was about. But how about this return? Taking a look at it from Graham here. Had a good 25 yards before he even really runs into a Chicago player. And then one of the Charlotte special teamers just took down a Chicago player there to help Graham out even more. And as we've seen all game long, we got to work to make a tackle against these guys. I didn't see an official call from the referee in the white hat.
Ball's at the 37-yard line. This is plays move this up even more now following that penalty.
It would have had to be a personal foul on Chicago there, Corey.
Had to be on Chicago,
yeah,
because we're going to move this ball inside the 25-yard line. So here's the last chance today. I mean, Charlotte can strike really quick here. 1:20 left, trying to get something onside, try to recover it. You know, they could do something pretty quick here, and
no more timeouts though.
That's the thing.
Yeah,
you'd have to score quick and then recover it again. So a lot to do, but the 22-yard line. Good return for the Cobras, benefited by the penalty yardage too. Brown wants to work quick, goes far side and links up with
clock's going to continue to run, but Chicago playing very soft there and just giving Charlotte all kinds of room on the outside.
1:06 to go. First and goal now from the 10 for Charlotte. Brown. Drops, fires, incomplete. Brown trying to get it to Ridnour. Looks like we'll have pass interference coming up.
Yeah, that's Pat Egan, I believe.
Yeah.
Collided with him in the end zone. Obviously not any malicious intent there.
No.
Another look at it. Got there a bit early. On Ridnour. It's going to help Charlotte out a bit.
Now you've got a chance here for Charlotte to be moved up even more. And so they're really benefiting. The Cobras are here late in this game with a couple penalties on Chicago. 46 seconds to go. It'll be first and goal from the 2, trying to punch this in quick now if you're the Cobras. Here's another look at that pass interference.
Yep, here's a better look here. And there you see he does get there a bit early. 2 or 3 yards into the end zone, and the flag comes from the back of the end zone there by the official. And if nothing else, it gives Charlotte something to feel good about, I should say, as they wind this game down.
First and goal from the 2. Brown zips it in zone. Touchdown, Kevin Alford for 6. 34-19. Cobras get a touchdown, a couple plays on that drive, aided by a couple of Chicago penalties, and then Brown quick to Alford.
Easy pitch and catch here. Right over the middle, Alford brings it in. He's been a consistent target of Charlotte all day.
That is Charlotte fired, Charlotte Mecklenburg PD. Going for 2. We can make this a 34-21 game. Brown, 2-point conversion good, and there's Stedman Graham. 13-point game. Okay, you got down here, you scored 8 points real quick. No timeouts, 41 seconds left. You got to get the football back here. I would assume you're going for an onside kick. I would assume that's a no-brainer.
Believe in miracles, Al Michaels once said back in 1980.
Get it back quick. That's 8 points if you can score again and get a 2-point conversion. That's 29. Then it's a real possibility, but of course then you'd have to get it back another time.
Right.
So it's
with no timeout.
With no timeout. So doing that once, it's possible. Doing it twice, less possible.
Of course, if you're Chicago here and you do recover it, you know the game's over because Charlotte has no timeout, so you can just take an E and end the game. So a lot riding on this kickoff here.
First, probably last big play of this game will get set for it. Encino works for the Concord Fire Department, went to Belmont Abbey, Concord just north of Charlotte. Kind of riding on Vincent Mancino. Mancino took a bounce, converging on it. Chicago has it. Randall Maxey, the one to wrap it up. That should do it for Chicago, leading 34-21. Needed to recover that onside kick try, and they have.
Yep, that's it. That's going to move them up to 1-0 to get their first win of the season in their first game. Going to drop Charlotte down to 1-1.
Well, Chicago had not played this season up until today, made the long trip down, but they're able to. They've got a good full roster. They've got some new players, yes, but they're getting equipment to over 74 different guys, all in that Chicago area, and brought a lot of personnel here to Charlotte. Looks like they'll benefit from that. Enforcers here with a knee or two, probably one, all that's needed to finish this one up. Impressive day for Chicago with Adam Tapling and company, and now in victory formation here for the Enforcers. Not bad for all of these players who have so many different commitments, and for head coach Brian Finley, he's happy to be back coaching, and his team 1-0 now on the season as well. So that's it. 34-21, Chicago gets it over Charlotte. That late little burst there for the Cobras. They were here at home, but struggled at times, came on a bit better in that second half, but a big shout out to Chicago, making the long trip here in full force, and came away with a big win to start their season like Charlotte did 2 weeks ago, 1-0.
Really looked good. Tapling pretty consistent all day. Ruffin gave them quite a spark. Pascasio as well. Just an all-around team effort. Their defense was stifling Brown. Great coverage across the middle of the field all game long. Good win for Chicago.
And a big win for the NPSFL today here in Charlotte. And both games here today, exciting and nice to see some great football with some nice weather today as well. A lot of people to thank for our busy day of football. Earlier it was Tri-State with their win over Roanoke. Chicago wins it over Charlotte. I want to thank everyone that, of course, starts with Jay Bell, Big Sports TV, a part of this, making it a full production as always. Thanks to Andy Singleton with the NPSFL. That's Armand Brody. I'm Corey Hodges. Thanks to Tim leading the officials today. Thanks to Q down here on the other side with public address. Everybody here in the press box who's made this a nice day. Got some free food as well. We appreciate the hospitality. Chicago wins it over Charlotte to wrap up our doubleheader of NPSFL football on this Saturday in East Charlotte. Hope you've enjoyed it. And thanks to everyone who joined on and got involved with the chat as well. Thanks to everyone watching in Chicago and here in Charlotte as well. So long from the Queen City, where Chicago wins it over Charlotte, 34-21, the final. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. So long, and bye for now.